Real talk. No bull. Real talk. We're putting it all on the table. You know what to do.
Yo, welcome, everybody.
Yep, episode.
47. It's been 1 year in heaven.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. We have special guest on the show tonight.
Mr. Tonksy.
How are we, fellas?
Braden
Thanks for
Tonksy
having me.
with an I, not a Y.
Yep.
Spelt the better way, brother. Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
always.
welcome. Cheers for coming on, mate.
Nah, thanks for having me, guys. It's it's my pleasure.
Yeah, no, awesome. Thanks for making the trip up from the Goldie.
The commute.
Yeah, last
Yeah.
minute too, bro. It's
Last
supposed to be
minute.
next week,
That's
hey,
right.
mate?
Yeah.
So
That's right.
no, it's absolutely my pleasure, bro. For sure.
We appreciate it, man. Really do.
And special episode tonight because this episode marks our 1 year anniversary of podcasts.
Woo!
And yes, like you guys know, it is episode 47. It's not episode 52.
Could have been.
Hey, well, we seem to have made a couple up.
Have we?
Well, we're only 5 behind.
we're only
so
5
yeah.
behind. So, yeah, we seem to have made a couple up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a win.
Yeah, well,
I
win.
wouldn't even know.
Win-win. Win-win.
Wouldn't even know.
No. So tonight on the podcast, Tonksy, we're gonna delve into who Tonksy is. Obviously, you're quite a prolific figure on the socials.
Yep.
You've got quite a following, and you've got quite an epic story behind who you are
Definitely. Yeah.
and what you're going through in this current situation in
bro.
life.
Yeah. Obviously, I will say at the beginning, obviously I'm still in the middle of a current lawsuit, so there is some things that I will navigate my way around.
That's
but
fine, man.
you guys throw the questions at me, brother,
You
and
just
I know where I'm going.
Yeah, man. You just tell it how you need to tell it, man.
100%.
And that because that's what we do here. It's
It's your story,
platform.
baby.
It's your story, man.
We're just here listening.
Yeah, man.
No, for
Yeah,
sure.
That's it. But we'll kick off the episode with everybody's favorite section.
What ripped your undies?
All right. You love that, eh?
I still can't get over that we don't have that at times.
Man, but with the magic of editing, you know,
Yeah, that's true.
Ian just like slots it in there, mate.
That's true. My tick's going off crazy tonight.
Yeah, you're all right.
What's your tics? Oh, okay.
That's why people think I'm on drugs, but it's like, nah.
Yeah, right.
And I sniff a lot.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
I don't mean to. It's annoying, but hey, it's our show. I don't care.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it, mate.
Well,
You
it's-
kick yourself away.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to kick off tonight.
Okay, you go for it, man.
So, with all the whole Raven lore and the Viking songs and all that stuff,
Okay.
I was just telling the kids about, the show.
What kind of music is that?
Well, this Raven lore dude's like almost like rap. He's like the Nordic Eminem.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, there you go. I said it. There, you heard it first. Yeah. But no, he's pretty good. And so I was talking to the kids about, the Viking series and how the main dude was Australian. And, I told him, like, oh, can we watch it? I said, no, it's far too brutal. And they're like, how? And I said, well, I explained to them what the Blood Eagle was. Abby didn't quite get it, but Zach was like, yeah. Zach was all about it. But anyway,
Okay.
what ripped my undies is, hang on, has anyone here seen all of them?
No,
Do you plan?
no,
Because this is a massive spoiler alert.
no.
I have no idea what you're
Yeah,
even
okay,
talking
cool.
about.
Kind of don't really know what you're talking about either. But
Yeah,
that's
me
fine.
either, bro. I'm thinking,
Okay, no, cool.
Yep.
They killed off the only reason why people watched it, and apparently it was still good afterwards. But as soon as that happened, I stopped watching it.
right.
And that ripped my undies because I really wanted to get into the other seasons, but I just couldn't get
Are
myself.
you talking about Vikings or Ravenlaw?
No, I'm talking about Vikings, the movie, the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is there a new one out?
Oh,
Or are you talking about
have you seen them?
the Vikings?
Yeah, with Ragnar.
Yeah, Ragnar Lothbrok. Yeah, fuck yeah,
he's
bro.
the fucking
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But
I have.
yeah, but
Long time ago though, when they first came out, I watched them. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So if you've seen them all and you guys have got no intentions, and yeah, spoiler alert, when they killed him off, I was like, well, I'm not watching it again.
Yeah, I was a bit the same
Yeah.
to be honest. Yeah, I'll back you there, bro,
Yeah,
for sure.
no, I was like, why? Like, he was Vikings.
Yeah.
And all the rest was just a bit
Yeah.
shit.
And now you see him in because he's an Aussie actor, hey.
Yeah, from Echuca.
Yeah, and he's actually I don't know if you guys have seen the show what is it? Boy Swallows Universe.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's a heroin dealer in it.
Yep.
Yeah, that same actor.
Yeah.
That's where I'd.
But
that's where
I'm
I've seen
just
that
watching
guy
him in
before.
something else. It just doesn't sit right with me because that's Ragnar.
Yeah.
Do you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of like pigeon. Oh, he was in another movie, Warcraft or something.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, he's still Ragnar.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for Vikings to come out and slaughter everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's ripped my undies. I hate it when shows do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it ruined it, and I haven't seen after season 5.
Yeah, fair man.
Yep.
Yeah, fair.
That ripped my undies.
I can't quite remember, but I did watch them all, yeah. I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's got his own beer brand now and all that stuff.
Yeah, cool.
We could use a. Oh no, we can't. Yeah, if you want to sponsor us, bring it on.
There you go. There you go.
Oh yeah,
you jump in, bro?
Just letting you
Yeah,
know, mate. I'm going to go off on tangents.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm going to
brother.
go off on tangents.
You're right.
That's what I do.
Yeah, you tick yourself away, bro.
I rein it back. I rein him back.
Yeah,
in as
he
well.
keeps you on a short leash. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do, bro. I wasn't aware of it, but obviously Braids has mentioned, what you do. I had one. I'll mention that, but I actually have another one. The train ride up here. Oh, fuck, it grossed me out. But the first one would be for me like, what way do you put the toilet roll on?
Yeah.
Do you have the paper coming out from the bottom or over the top?
Okay, so I have the answer to this.
No.
Yeah, well, it's fucking logic, bro.
Yeah, that's logic. But when the toilet roll was actually invented,
Oh, you better have this right, mate, because people are going to jump on you.
yeah, that's fine. You can
Yeah,
research this. They patented the fact that it comes off the wall, not down the wall.
Well,
Yeah.
there's no point trying to get your hand under to try
Yeah.
to find it. It's on top.
So if I came to your house, right,
it'll be on top.
and it's and it's against the wall, I will turn it.
So would
and
I.
I will correct it, even if I'm not using it.
I
if
also
I go
do
for a
this.
piss
Yep.
and I look down and I see that the toilet roll is against the wall, I will fucking take it off and I will put it on correctly.
It's got to be
I
against
will
the
do the
wall.
exact
No
same.
way,
and-
what are you talking
Yeah, man.
about?
I reckon the rip factor is easier when it's on the other side.
Nah,
Yep.
nah,
Oh, bro, that's
bro,
backwards.
you're a
I'm savage.
oh,
Nah,
bro,
it's
savage,
logic
right?
if you ask me. You know,
To be
you
honest,
pull it from the top.
It doesn't
Yeah.
really change the experience of
But,
wiping.
yeah, my
But I
other
get it.
one.
It's an irk.
My other one now. This.
Exactly. So have it the right fucking way.
Yeah, that's exactly right, bro.
That was the
Not in my house.
I didn't even look
gonna
at yours
change
when I
it.
went there.
I'm going into your ensuite.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Oh,
It's underneath.
yeah. You'll see cardboard on the floor in mine.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Lara
Nah.
makes sure I put it away.
But I thought I'd share this second one because fuck. So I was on the train ride up here, and this person jumped on the train. I thought it was a male for starters, but it ended up, she sat down sort of, on the trains on the carriages where the seats are just up the sides.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting on this side, and she sat down. She had boobs, so it was a lesbian, I guess. And I was sort of sitting there. I was on my phone, and she was like making a bit of a ruckus, and I sort of like looked out the corner of my eye, and she had long fingernails, and she's fucking digging away at her nostril. And I'm thinking, what? And then I was sort of like, watching her and watched her put her hand down. I thought she'd wiped it on her leg. And I looked over, and she'd left it. I reckon she left it probably 45 seconds to a minute, and then she fucking ate it.
Oh, jeez.
I cannot stand that. My middle daughter went through a bit of a stage with doing that, and I said to her, if I catch you doing that again, I'm going to pick the biggest, snottiest one and make you eat it.
I mean, yeah, kids can get away with it.
Yeah, no,
but
there's
it's just one of those things, bro. And like, sorry to anybody watching that may have children going through it. It's just one of those things that made me sick, bro. And watched a full grown lady.
yeah, well,
Do you know what I
children
mean?
to a lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least do it at home, behind
Yeah.
closed doors.
100%.
You know?
100%.
But yeah, I thought of that on the way up, and I seen that. I thought I'm gonna mention that for sure. It was
savage,
fucking
eh?
horrible, man.
Yeah.
Savage as. Yeah. Okay, so what rips my undies? I think I've mentioned this one before, actually.
Oh, you're cheating.
Well, it's a contentious subject that just keeps fucking coming up in my life. Is dog shit on the fucking walking paths.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Honestly. And it's all dog owners are perfect, apparently. It's not my dog. Oh, my dog never shits on the fucking path. I always pick up my dog shit.
Yeah, what if it's runny?
Yeah.
Someone's not picking up their fucking dog shit. And I go running a lot, right? So I'm constantly dodging the shit all the time.
Literally.
But where do you stand with the poo on the grass? Like, I get you should be picking it up.
I saw a reel on this. Sorry to cut
No,
you guys,
no,
but I
cut
saw
away.
a reel on this, just a similar on the same sort of subject there the other day. As a kid, you would always see white dog shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you agree?
Yeah.
I haven't seen white dog shit, like
Nah.
old dog shit for
I-
fucking years.
I saw the same thing,
Yeah.
and I looked it up, and I think it was something to do with the sodium or
Okay.
something in the food,
Ah.
and that's what would turn the dog shit white
Dehydrates it.
as it dried in the sun.
Yeah,
but
right.
that I think it's the additive has been removed from the dog food now,
Yeah,
so
I
it
just haven't
doesn't
seen it
do
for
that
years.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, Lara said something on TV the other day. She's like, "Oh, that shit's white," because
Yeah.
I was on alone, and I'm like, "Yo, you're right. When was the last? Like, I can't remember the last.
I was a kid.
I don't even
literally
Yeah.
a kid. Yeah,
And
Hard
people
white
used to
dog
put
shit.
the water bottle on their front yard. Did you guys ever have that here in
the what,
Aussie?
sorry?
They'd put like a 1.5 litre bottle of water, like just on their front yard, and apparently that was supposed to deter cats and dogs from shitting on your yard as well.
Okay, yeah, no, I never
Yeah,
heard
it
of
was.
that
I
one.
Never
don't
heard
know.
of that one.
It was something that happened in NZ a lot. Obviously, it got
Yeah,
debunked,
okay.
and it wasn't. a
Was the
thing.
white dog shit a thing in NZ?
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah, wow.
yeah. Because I came across something on the net about that too, and it was like, "Where's all the white dog shit gone?" It's like, oh yeah,
Cole
kinda
Barron
just,
made a joke about it.
just
Yeah,
disappeared.
Carl Barron, love him, bro.
Yeah.
Just disappeared, eh?
Fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, well, that was a good one. That was a good one tonight. Thanks, mate.
You gonna hit us with the?
Thanks for weighing in.
Aren't you going off topic or you doing something off the cuff?
I will.
Oh, it's not now.
No.
So the suspense. The suspense is killing
Well, I
me.
think before we get stuck into my story, I've got a little gift for you, and you can
Alright.
fight amongst yourselves.
We love
but
gifts.
we got a Tonksy Media Productions
Oh,
t-shirt.
wicked.
Ah, all right.
Thank you, sir.
Nice, bro.
There's that.
Beautiful.
And Tonksy Media cap.
Oh,
And
oh.
now there's a third fella here. There's a mug too.
Oh, wow.
lovely.
Mate, we've got to lift up our bloody game.
Wow. This brings me on to what I was going to do.
Oh,
We have one of our limited edition Real Talk Noble hats left, and I was going to give it to you
oh.
as a gift for being our 1 year anniversary guest.
Unreal, bro. Thank you
There you
very
go.
much.
So that's the last one we've got left.
Yeah, mad,
and
bro.
we kind of had been deciding what we were going to do with it,
Yeah.
but I thought tonight would be a really good night to give it away to our 1 year guest.
Appreciate it, fellas.
That's
go.
awesome.
Yeah,
There
awesome,
you
bro.
go.
Thanks, mate.
I'm just going to interrupt for one moment that I've only just noticed. Braden, can you fix our business cards are upside down?
Oh, schmuck.
Good one.
I'm just gonna. Oh, I was only one.
That's
It's
the one.
probably the boy.
Yeah.
I'm blaming Zach.
That's right. He stitched us up.
Yep, classic stitch up.
Classic stitch
stitch up. Oh man, I say it every week. I've got to change chairs.
I reckon after tonight's episode, just having a look at this quickly, is that we should just put that prep press sticker on that plant.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sponsoring our
Sponsoring our survival
our
trip
survival trip.
coming up in September.
Yeah, stay
Keep an eye out.
tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah, stay tuned.
I
But
could
anyway.
possibly be a part of that, guys. We might wait and see.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't hear
Probably not.
what you said.
I said I could possibly be a part of that, but we'll just wait and see. I don't think I could last a week.
Wow,
not with no food.
You'll have no option, mate.
Yeah.
You'll have no option.
That's right. We'll be
We've got one car.
Yeah.
we'll be yabby fishing.
Yeah.
We'll be goat hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we'll be,
So I love all that shit, but
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not the sort that can like gut or skin an animal.
Yeah.
I'm a good shot, like. But
I'll do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Those were my exact stances as well. Like, I have no issue shooting the goat,
yeah,
but I can't do the processing part.
nah, me either. The warm blood, no.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
not
Nah,
me.
but
Yeah.
after what Scotty said, I think we can do it.
Yeah, we'll be right,
we
mate.
don't need to gut it.
Yeah, we'll be
We'll
fine.
just-
I like the idea of like the no devices though.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Oh, I can't
you know.
wait, man.
Oh, I can't
I can't wait to sit there after a day of struggling with no food and just looking up the stars.
Yeah,
And if there is a God,
yeah.
deliver me a burger.
Well, as we'll get into my story, guys, there's
Yeah.
definitely a God.
Nah,
100%.
all good. Let's start. man.
Yeah, alrighty. Let's hear it.
So let's start from the start.
The start,
Where'd you grow up, man?
Yep.
I grew up in a suburb by the name of Claremont, northern suburbs of Hobart in Tasmania. Housing Commission house. It's not a rough. It's got a sort of rough side to it, but a nice side to it too. So it's not exactly a rough area.
Yeah.
My first memories were from a rough area by a suburb by the name of Gagebrook. I lived there. I started kindergarten there. Did maybe half a kindergarten there, and then we moved to Claremont. But those were my sort of first memories. But yeah, grew up in Claremont, man. Went to Claremont Primary, Claremont High School. Started Claremont College, and then landed an apprenticeship as a metal fabricator. So, but yeah, taking it back to the beginning, bro. I was born at the Royal. At the time, it was called the Queen Alexandra Hospital in Hobart. It's now the Royal Hobart Hospital. I was born at 6:31 on a Tuesday morning.
Hey,
So, and I know this because I'm hardcore into my autobiography at the moment. So,
yeah, rad.
but yeah, man, life was pretty bliss, you know, up until sort of, you know, something I haven't really mentioned too. You hear a lot of people talk about being bullied and stuff at school, and I never really was, but I do recall. So you know, like year 1, year 2, I had mullet. You know, my old man, was sort of right into the bikie scene and whatnot. It wasn't an official bikie, but he was sort of right into that scene, and he's even to this day still builds some of the nicest custom choppers in Tasmania. You know,
beautiful.
just real passionate about that, about Harley Davidsons. And he had the mullet with the beard, and so I was his firstborn son. You know, I'm the eldest of 4. So I had the mullet and I had my ear pierced, and I remember these grade 6s. This is just going to the bullying thing, like, because I wasn't really bullied, you know. I learned to sort of stand my ground pretty early, but I remember being bullied and actually intimidated. And it only sort of come to me today when I knew I was coming on this podcast. I thought I'd mention it. I remember they cornered me, these fuckers. They were like year 6s, and they felt like men to me at the time, you know. Like at that age, I was only a little boy, and calling me a girl because I had long hair, and you know, and trying to pull my earring and stuff out, and like I remember just running off, and I don't know, probably ran to the principal or something like that. But so you know, my old boy's still to this day got a very heavy reputation as a violent man, you know, violent pub fighter. You know, he's not an alcoholic by all means, but loves a beer, loves a binge, you know, loves to have a beer at the pub. He's always the loudest one in the corner of the pub sort of thing, you know, always has been. And if ever I'm there, you know, having a beer with him, he's talking me up to his mates, and, you know, to the point where it's like, fucking shut up, Dad, like, you know. But through my primary school days, man, like I remember like a situation like that, you know. There was other situations, but Dad he's the sort of bloke, like he'd be straight down there scruffing the principal, you know, like, and it sort of got to the point where it was sort of like, do I tell Dad or do I not, you know, like, is he gonna fucking bash the principal, or, you know? But they're just early memories, you know. My parents split when I was 12 years old. Leading up to that, you know, I've got some pretty vivid memories of some, you know, domestic violence and lots of parties and shit at home. And mind you, I did mention I'm the eldest of 4, but at this stage there's me, a sister, Brittany, 2 years under me, and then a brother, Joel, 2 years under her. But then there's a big gap. So an 8-year gap when we eventually had another little sister. So it was always just us 3 elder ones, you know, through those early years. And me being the eldest, I can remember the most, you know. Yeah, man, I don't know if you have watched Once Were Warriors, brother. You're from New Zealand. It was those vibes to a T.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The house parties and you know, it'd always end with the old boy fucking bashing everyone up.
Yeah.
You know, and like I remember, and I've said this story a few times, but it's definitely, and it's a big part in my book that's hopefully going to be published by the end of the year. remember, like, you know that party in Once Were Warriors when it's all happening downstairs and the kids are upstairs and they're, you know, I think it's Boogie, he's holding them all together and like they're all crying, and it was like sort of one of those moments, like, and I remember us being in the bedroom, us kids, and just hearing a fucking ruckus, man, anyway, I hopped up the next morning and there's literally a fucking hole from the kitchen through to the lounge room, and it was pretty much the shape of a person, you know.
Yeah, shit.
With blood sprayed here and blood spray like
hell.
that. Yeah, man, the old boy would give these, it was a couple of brothers actually, I obviously won't mention names, but if those guys watch it, they'll know that I'm talking about them, but yeah, man, like that was just the normal, you know. I grew up around that, so at the time, I didn't feel like it was that, but it was just normal, you know, which obviously in my later years I've grown up to sort of realise that's some fucking pretty hectic trauma tucked away down there, you know. But yeah, you know, look, it got to the point where, like I said, I was 12 when Mum and Dad split, just starting high school, you know, and actually I might mention just before they split, I just tried weed for the first time, you know, and I literally only had a couple of puffs on a joint and I was that fucking stoned, man, like, you know, the giggles, and I went home and remember the old boy, like, oh, sorry, Dad wasn't home, and Mum would usually keep secrets from Dad, you know, like, but she was pissed off at me, Mum was, and I'll later get into, you know, she ended up being a pretty bad bitch, my mum, you know, but yeah, she's like, let me have a look at your fucking eyes, you know, and my eyes were fucked, like, and I'm 12, you know.
Stuck on cross-eyed.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking all squinted up, and and she's like, right, I'm ringing your father, you know, and I mean, I'd been exposed to a lot of marijuana and stuff already through those days, you know, like, at one point we had a couple of big trees in the backyard, you know, like, but yeah, I remember the old boy come home and out of all us 4 kids, I was the only one that ever copped a hiding off Dad, and I copped a few of them.
Yep.
It was the old school. He scruffed me by the back of the collar and booted me up the arse about 6 times up the hallway, you know, like fucking proper hiding. But yeah, it didn't stop me, you know. Like Mum and Dad eventually split up, you know, through a bunch of domestic violence. So I won't go too deep into that, but there ended up being like DV orders between Mum and Dad, and us kids, obviously we were all under the age of 16. In Tasmania, you know, as a 16-year-old kid gets to have their own say, what parent they want to go, whatever. But so Mum had got the DV order on Dad, and I remember in Claremont, the suburb where we were at there, Dad wasn't allowed to within I think it was like a kilometre radius of where we lived, and within that kilometre radius was the local footy club, which was Dad's local, you know, Sunday school fucking, where he, you know, all his mates and stuff would drink there, and so he couldn't even go there, and you know, at that stage too, like, you see, my old man was the second person that my mum had ever been with. So, and she'd eventually had 4 kids to him, you know. But so once Dad was out of the picture, it was for a 12-month period where we weren't seeing him us kids weren't allowed to see him. And I mean, at the time, it was like fucking freedom, you know. I look back now and it's like it was bad because Mum just let us go.
Yeah.
You know, like I was 13 years old sitting in my bedroom with a bunch of mates from high school smoking bongs, and, you know, just, you know, she just, but it was her way of, I guess, giving us that freedom where, because Dad was such a strict parent, so anti-drug, so, you know, done it the right way, made sure we're at school, like, you know, made sure he was always good like that. He was just,
The heavy structure.
yeah, old school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you not? Was it? You weren't allowed to see him legally, or was it by choice?
No, legally.
Legally,
Yeah,
because you weren't old enough to make that decision.
Yeah,
to go see him,
So
okay.
that was all part of the orders. So, like I said, I seen it at the time as freedom. You know, and so yeah, these orders would have been around the age of like 13, 14-ish, you know, and at that stage too, ecstasy's become a big thing in Tassie, you know. And maybe 14 years old, I'm going, and I'm sure you guys have in your time the old ecstasy pills,
yeah.
bro. You go your mate halves in one, you'd be fucked for
Yeah.
48 hours. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
100%.
And at 14 years old, bro, I'm
You
telling you.
don't realise it until they hit, and then you go, shit, I've double dumped.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yep. The old eyes are gone. Yeah,
It's like,
but
I shouldn't have taken the second one.
but back then it was literally. I remember they were like the old UFOs and
The Lancers.
the Lancers, the Mercedes, the Hearts, and the white ones were always the fucking.
They were the ones that put
bro.
ya.
Yeah, but I remember like 14 years old, just like breaking one in half and going my mate halves and like full blown like, whoa, like we are on fire, you know. But yeah, it was through the time I weren't seeing Dad, and at this stage, so we had a I think it was like a 3 by 6 meter shed out the back, just an aluminium shed on a concrete slab. I turned that into like my bedroom, band room. You know, I had my drum kit and everything set up out there, and all my mates' amps and guitars and whatnot. We used to do band practice and that in there, and obviously I'm mid-high school at this stage, you know, and of the weekends and that we'd party in there. I had all the strobe lights and the shit set up. It was sick. It was the place to be. We called it the shed. I've literally got a tattoo.
Yeah, the shed.
And it's a little picture of a potbelly stove
Oh,
because we had a little potbelly stove in the corner
Yeah.
and ended up burning the fucking shed down. So with all the music equipment, all my wardrobe, no insurance. so
man.
it's about, back then it probably would have been about 25 grand's worth of music equipment, you know. Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah, I remember the lead guitarist, Tommy, shout out Tommy, his old man weren't happy. Fuck. He had a very vintage sentimental guitar that got burnt in there and stuff. So, but
A few lessons learned that night.
Oh man, well yeah. What actually happened was it was like I'd just been in there smoking cones one night, and it was a weeknight I think, and everyone had left, and I'd gone inside to go and went to bed, and my sister come running in, and she's like, she's like, because her bedroom was at the end of the house closest to the shed, so her bedroom window. She's come running into my bedroom inside, and she's like, Brayden, quick, somebody's in the shed, like there's banging in there, like. So, and after Dad left, I sort of felt like I was the man of the house, even though I was such a young age, I still did sort of thing, and so I've like fucking gone running out. I've grabbed the crowbar, like gone running around, like ready to clob some bastard, and I've gone around the front of the house to the gate, and I just seen smoke bearing out of the door. Being an aluminium shed, went to go and open the door, bro, and burnt my hands, But then we had a barbecue off the side of it, and flames had started coming out, touching the gas bottle. And I'm thinking, fuck, I'm going to blow this suburb up, like, So I've like ran and just scruffed this gas bottle, and it's pulled the whole barbecue down across the backyard and whatnot. But so that was a bit of a tragedy there, but. So I remember I was working, I started working, so I must have been about 14, 15, I started working just stacking fridges at this little cafe in like Claremont Village. It was just the local sort of got your Woolies and your reject shop and your chemist and little cafe sort of thing. And I was working in the cafe stacking fridges, and during the time we weren't allowed to see Dad, and I hadn't seen or spoke to him for months, little did I know he was obviously going through the family law system and stuff himself, trying to get us kids back. I didn't know any of that at that stage.
No.
Like I was just fucking partying, living my life as a free kid. I could do what I want without Dad there type thing. I remember I was stacking the fridges, and I just seen out of the corner of my eye, Dad's walking out of Woolies with one of his mates. And like my heart sunk. I still remember the feeling. Like I hadn't seen him in me being his firstborn son as well. I was just like, oh shit, and like sort of Mum had bled into our heads, like you can't speak to your dad, he'll go to jail, sort of thing. And so I was like, fuck, and we just walking closer and closer, and we just like locked eyes, and I watched him well up. He like, and it was hard. And he just walked straight past me and just
Yeah.
It's definitely a vivid memory. But it wasn't long after that. I remember I like to think that I was pretty good on BMX. You know, there was a skate park built just near this footy club in Claremont there, and it's a pretty cool skate park. You know, I used to spend a lot of time there and riding the pushies. I ended up really good on rollerblades as well, inline skating and.
That's that 90s feel.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Well, this is sort of early 2000s type time, and I remember one of Dad's mates had. So what had happened, you know? So like I said, Mum had only ever been with Dad and one guy before, you know, and then had kids to Dad. So obviously, when they split, she went out and started to live her life, you know, and. I'll just touch on one thing. I remember the first bloke she brought back home, and like I would have been like 14 or so, and I remember she brought this fella home, and like I was like fucking the man of the house, you know, and I made him leave and chased him out the front, threw a rock through his car window and shit, you know, and just. Obviously, I loved my dad, you know. I didn't want to. Right. I hated seeing my mum with somebody else at that age, you know.
It was being replaced.
Yeah, and it's like that's fucking my mum, like you know what I mean. But yeah, so you know, Mum started to mingle with Dad's mates at this footy club, you know, and it's like you can imagine what it was doing to the old boy. Yeah. I won't sort of go too much into that, but some things happened and, you know, some people were involved and Mum might have done the wrong thing here and there. And, I remember I was at the skate park and one of Dad's mates come over and said, fucking leave your bike there, get in the car, you're coming with me. We're going to see your father. He's not good. You know, he's not good. And I'm thinking, I can't. He'll go to jail, you know. And... he's like, get in the fucking car. Like, we're going to see him. He's not good. Like, I was like, fucking righto. Like, I said, I was just a boy. And went down and fair enough. And just got there and just before the old boy was about to do himself in, you know. So, it was, it was another very vivid memory that I'll never forget, you know. And, very within seconds type thing, you know, like just got there in time sort of thing.
Did you speak to your mum about that at the time? Like, how do you process, like, you know,
remember,
you're being
bro.
fed that he's going to go to jail if you go see him, but then
I'm sure I
you've
would
gone
have.
there and you've saved him.
Yeah. I'm sure I would have. I can't really remember, but, you know, I do remember like speaking with Dad on the phone at like my uncle's house, Dad's brother, and you know him.
We're just making sure the batteries are still going.
Yeah, no, all good. Yeah.
You good, Dino?
So if you see me smile and it's because Dean just gave me the thumbs up that we're still good.
Sweet, bro, all good. But yeah, no, I do. I remember speaking to Dad. Must have been around near towards the end of the time we weren't seeing him, you know, and. I was right at the time, you know, I was right into crusty demons and like dirt bike riding and like that's another thing too, you know. Dad he had me on a dirt bike. I was literally riding a PW50 at 2 years old, you know. Always looked after us financially and stuff. He was just a violent cunt, you know, very short fused. Like you walk on eggshells around him a lot of the time, you know.
Yeah.
But always, like us kids were spoiled, like as far as having motorbikes, we're always dressed in brand name clothes and, you know, like we're always looked after in that sense. But, I remember talking to Dad on the phone for the first time towards the end of not seeing him there. And I was 16 by this stage. So, I might get my ages and that mixed up a little bit. It's a bit cloudy. After the what we'll go into the fucking drug use I ended up.
Yeah.
You know, my brain ain't fully there these days, I guess. But I remember I was 16 and I spoke to Dad on the phone at my uncle's house and I was like, Dad, I want to get a sleeve. Like I want to get tattoos. He's like, oh, do you want a half sleeve or do you want a full sleeve? I said, I want a full sleeve and I want my ribs done and my chest done and fucking. He's like, yeah, all right, boy. You know, he always called me boy. And still calls me boy. But I remember wasn't long after that, my old lady ended up in jail. So just throughout that time of not seeing Dad, she that was the start of her 20-year-long addiction herself.
Yeah,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah, and bad.
Do you think that may, like, even though your dad was like a violent guy, he was what held the structure together?
Definitely, bro,
And so-
definitely. But just in a
When he's left, it's like your mum's unraveled too, you know?
yeah,
like-
and I think too, Mum hadn't lived a life.
Yeah.
you know, Dad was 16 when I was born.
Yeah.
And Mum was 19, so they were just kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they were only just teenagers. Now they've got this newborn baby, aka me, to try and navigate a life around, you know, and like. I might just quickly take you back just to give you a bit of an idea of Mum and Dad, the trauma that they'd already been through. So it sort of gives you more of a picture. So my dad, for example, I'll make this just short, but my dad, around the age of 5 to 7, you know, he grew up in a hard suburb in Norfolk. It's known for sort of breeding hard families, you know, country town. You know, from just what stories he's told me, you know, him and his older brother, my Uncle Rob, God bless his soul, he's not with us anymore, but the next door neighbours were arguing, you know, and sort of they were kids, they've jumped up on the fence, have a bit of a sticky beak, and they watch the fella walk out, and I remember Dad says it was an old brown Kingswood. He's walked around to the boot of it, undone the boot, pulled a shotgun out and blew his head off.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, so that was like bang. My dad, that sort of gives you a bit of a picture of the early trauma that my dad.
That
sort
was
of-
going to be my next question. What do you what do you think or made, because you're not just born violent,
No.
or have this thing,
No.
this edge.
No, that's
I
right.
was and just before you said that, I was going to chime in with, so why do you think your dad was the
That's
way?
why I thought I'd throw it back,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, and you know, and he was also raised by his stepfather too, which was a mental case. You know, he was very well known in this town of New Norfolk as a bad man too. you know,
okay.
so which wasn't his actual father. So he had the surname of Oakley. So the Tonks name. So Dad's real dad, the Tonks name wasn't really a thing, you know. Like my real pop Tonks, he was just an old alcoholic man, you know. He was never a known guy or nothing. It was Errol Oakley, Dad's stepfather, that brought the hardness out in him, you know, from a young age. But yeah, so that was sort of, you know, that's sort of, you can picture sort of why my dad was a bit crooked, you know. But yeah, and so Mum, very similar story. She was, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mum, but she was 16, I think. You know, she's one of 3 daughters, and she's the middle one. Their real father never met the scumbag. You know, he done some horrendous things to Mum's older sister and done a lot of jail time. You know, I won't say it live, obviously, out of respect for my auntie Mandy, but yeah, 9 years old, sort of fucked her right up, you know. And
Scum.
yeah, literally. So I've never met him in my life, my real grandfather on Mum's side. But she was raised by her stepfather, Peter Cook. She ended up taking his last name and everything, and he was a police officer, and she was around the age of 16, I think. Yeah, this is also, I've got a full chapter of this in my book. Yeah, she's come home, I think, of like around dinner time or whatever, and seen the car parked in the driveway and seen him sitting in the driver's side, and sort of, she was with a friend as well, and walked up to the passenger side to sort of say hello, and he'd done the same thing. She'd just missed it.
Wow.
Yeah, committed suicide in the front seat. So she seen that too at the age of 16. That's was only 3 years before I was born. So
Yeah. And so your mum and your dad were trauma bonded.
big time, bro.
Yeah.
Big time. And they loved hard, man. Like
Yeah.
they did. I seen them in love hardcore, you know. Like I said, I'm the eldest. I remember a lot. I've got a very, very photographic memory, you know. Yeah. But yeah, so that sort of gives you a sort of structure of mum and dad. But yeah, so where was I in the story? I was up to, so, you know, mum's gone downhill after they'd split, you know. Back then it was ecstasy and old school speed. it was a big thing in Tassie. Ice, which later on wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing for a long time in Tassie. Like it was here in the mainland, as we call it, when we're from Tassie. It was a thing decades before it was in Tassie, you know, and so it was sort of the old school, and sort of Mum went off like I said, she just sort of let us go, you know. My little sister was born, so Mum and Dad split when I was 12. Dad ended up with another partner. Was still seeing Mum behind her back, and Mum fell pregnant with our baby sister Tali, which was, like I said, an 8-year gap between my brother. So I was 12 when Tali was born. Sort of, you know, around that age, Tali was around the age of 2, and like Mum was just fucking, she'd leave us, she'd go from a Friday till Sunday, Monday sometimes, and just leave us, you know. And me, I was like, at that age, I'm, you know, 14, 15, 16. Like I said, the ecstasy was a big thing. I'm having huge house parties, man. Like, and my sister under me, you know, bless her, she's currently in active addiction again. But she would mother, you know, my little sister, you know, for the best sort of first couple of years of her life. I'd like to say that I was there, but I wasn't, you know. I was just too, like, look at me. Everybody loved, I had the house we could all go to, you know, and party, and no parents there, and, you know. So, but yeah, cut a long story short, you know, Mum ended up racking up a heap of charges, and obviously with the drug use come shoplifting and drug driving and drink driving, and she racked a heap of charges up and ended up in jail, and all of us ended up with Dad.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, so we've gone from, you know, he's not allowed within a kilometre of our house now to we're with him full time while Mum's in jail, you know. He's like got the upper hand, and I hated it. I fucking hated it because he was so strict, but I look back now and I'm so grateful for it. I really am, man. Now I'm a man now, and I'm a father myself, you know. Because fuck knows where I would have ended up if...
Do you find, like, even though, like, it's hard at that point in your life, like, being... Because what would you been, like, 16, 17 by that?
Not quite 17, 15, 16, yep.
So, I mean, but it's kind of reeled you in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was wagging school and doing all that sort of stuff, you know, or going to school stoned off my head and shit like that, why we weren't seeing Dad.
Yeah.
Now Dad's in the picture, it's like 7 o'clock, he's straight in, he's opening the blinds, pulling the blankets off you, up you get, jump the shower, you're going to school. You know, he's very...
Regimented, yeah.
Yeah, old school, like, you know. But as a kid, you don't like that. It's like, fucking give me a break, fuck ya, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, I very, you know, I really respect that I was treated like that in the end, because fuck knows where I would have ended up if Dad wasn't in the picture.
How was that transition going to all that freedom to then going...
Fucked.
Yeah, there was tension?
It was... all of a sudden, you know, like I say to Dad, I want to go to a party, and he'd be wanting to speak to their parents and, like, you know, doing the right parent thing. But I was already like, I was the one having parties, man. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So what the fuck?
Yeah, so it was hard, but, you know, he ended up confiding in me, you know, and sort of giving me a bit of freedom and whatnot, but keeping me in line, you know, keep me in line. And when my little sister, Tali, she was 4 years old, Mum had been out of jail, back in jail again. She was, you know, fully into intravenous using by this stage. And, yeah, we weren't having much to do with her. There was a period there, though, when she was out of jail where we were having, like I said, I can't remember times that well, but it was week on, week off with Mum there and Dad for a bit. They were sort of co-parenting pretty well for a while there. But it didn't last long. Mum ended up back in jail, and, when my little sister was 4 years old, she had a little fall I was there with her at a little playground this day. Dad was in the doctor's surgery, which across the road from the doctor's surgery was a little playground. I was letting her have a play, you know. I mean, I was a teenager. She was only a little 4-year-old girl, you know. and she had a fall and like fell on like this rail and like she fucking started screaming like she'd really hurt herself, you know. And I couldn't work out what it was like. She sort of only just fell on her belly, you know. But whatever happened, I can't remember the terminology name to it, but like she ended up going into emergency into the hospital. They did scans and found a tumour, cancerous tumour on her bladder.
Oh man.
And I remember the prison had brought Mum over to the hospital, like, so I remember there was like screws outside the door of the hospital room, and Dad, we were all in there with Dad, all of us as a family. Mum was in there as well, and I remember the doctor coming in and they took Mum and Dad out. Obviously told them that she's got cancer.
Fuck.
And I remember both Mum and Dad walking back in, and I'd never seen my dad cry, you know, like he's too tough to cry, you know. And both of them walked in bawling, and like me, like being the old, I remember the feeling like, what's wrong, like, and Mum, she's got cancer. They had her on a flight that night on a little emergency aeroplane from Hobart to Melbourne to the Royal Children's Hospital, where she ended up spending the next 2 years in the hospital. And it was crazy, man. She, at the time, I'm sure there's more history now, but at the time she made the front page of the Herald Sun for being the longest patient receiving chemotherapy radiation in history for her age. For that amount of time, yeah, and it made the paper. It was around the time of the Kevin Rudd and Julia Gillard bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember Kevin Rudd I might add too, Mum got let out of jail on like compassionate grounds to be over there with her daughter. So she got let out, for whatever reason. It was a compassionate thing, you know. Let out early from prison and ended up living at the Ronald McDonald House in Melbourne, straight across the road from the hospital there. And
It's a fucking good thing that.
It is, bro. I always make sure I put my
fucking
coins
is,
when
yep.
I'm at Macca's every time, you know. And
Round it
because
up.
of that. Yeah,
Round it up.
definitely. But yeah, so they ended up, that's what I said around the time of the Julia Gillard, Kevin Rudd thing. I remember Kevin Rudd literally went into the Royal Children's Hospital specifically to see Tali, my little sister. I wasn't there. I was in Tassie. I had an apprenticeship and everything at this point. So I was left in sort of Tassie by myself. Mum and Dad were back and forth. Dad was back and forth to Melbourne. Mum was living there. But I remember the Kevin Rudd, like the story Mum said is, you know, there was the security guards all around the hospital room and stuff, and he went in there and he literally rang the minister of like housing department back in Tasmania and said, because Mum was looking at losing her house, you know, because it's just been abandoned, like. And I remember, he rang the minister personally and said, like, you take this family under your wing, you know, like, we have a very, very sick little girl here. This family can't lose their house type thing, you know. And like, that was special. I remember seeing the photos of Kevin Rudd hugging me little sister and stuff. And
Oh, shout out to Mr. Rudd.
yeah, man,
Shout
yeah,
out.
definitely, 100%.
Because you don't hear a lot of those things that they do.
You don't,
You know,
man.
they
And,
just
you know,
get
and I remember
shit
he was the loser at that point too,
Yeah.
you know. So,
No, shout out.
but cut a long story short there, you know. I think Mum, towards the end of that 2 years, Mum met a fella over there and ended up going off the rails again.
So she was clean for 2 years?
I guess so. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure she was probably still dabbling, yeah. But she's in Melbourne, so she obviously wasn't around the dealers that she knew or anything. But she ended up meeting this guy, I remember because I got her to, when I was over there once, I got her to get a bit of weed off him, and that's how I sort of knew he had connections to drugs. This guy, because I sort of watched Mum fucking go downhill again, you know. And because of that, still to this day, you know, like Mum missed appointments for my little sister and stuff because of it. Still to this day, my little sister's 21 now and hasn't spoken a word to mum since. Yeah, so that's something heavy that mum holds, and you know the guilt and the shame and the.
But your little sister ended up okay in the end.
So yeah, she ended up. They ended up shrinking it, and operating, taking a third of her bladder.
Yeah.
So she, but like I didn't know this at the time, but as she grows, your bladder grows back with you.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I remember like even now to this day, she still goes to the toilet heaps, like to urinate and whatnot. But and also the radiation sizzled up all her girl organs, so she would never be able to have a child. She never got a period or anything like that, you know. Sorry, darling, if I've mentioned too much, but she was definitely blessed. Let's just say that, you know, because yeah, they'd told us numerous times over that 2 years that she wasn't going to make it, and
Man.
and all that. It was pretty tough, yeah. But it sort of brought the family back together at the same time, in a way. At one point, you know,
Tragedy does.
yeah, it does, man. You know, but yeah, around that time, so yeah, she ended up being put in remission, coming back to Tassie, and yeah, and still to this, she's just killing life. You know, she's the only child out of us four that's never been a drug addict. That, you know, she's a school teacher. She's yeah, you know, she works 3 jobs. Like, she's just killing
on her.
life. You know, loves a good rave though. She, you know, she loves her music and stuff. But she's definitely my favourite sibling, young Tars. But yeah, so at the age of 16, I'd obviously landed an apprenticeship as a sheet metal worker, and I met the mother of my 2 elder daughters. This was whilst I didn't meet her. I went to high school with her. She was a year older than me, so we'd known each other for years. But we got together at that age, and you know, we ended up, like, I was 16. She was 17. She was almost 2 years older than me, but just a year above me at school, sort of thing. And yeah, so we ended up getting our own rental. She was a hairdresser, and yeah, I was a sheetie. You know, we were living a good life, and we ended up moving into a bigger house, and she fell pregnant with my firstborn, Amali Bliss. God bless her, man. She's the only child she's tall, lanky like her dad. You know, looks like me, and I absolutely love her to bits. And yeah, a couple of years later, so I was 19 by this stage when she was born. I say that because the number 19, as you can see, I got tattooed on my face. There's a story behind that. So yeah, a couple of years later, at the age of 21, my second daughter Harlow was born. So, you know, I'm 21 years old. I'm a father of 2. Always sort of had a bit of weed growing in the background, you know, so always had that sort of backup of an income. I'll speak publicly about that because I ended up fucking come crashing down on me in the end, which we'll get to. But yeah, so I've sort of had that backup. But at the same time too, you know, I'm dealing pingers too, you know. I started off with 50 of a weekend, and, you know, next thing you know, I got 100, and within a very short amount of time, I'm, you know, going a bloke halves in a couple of thousand a week sort of thing. And I got very well known throughout the nightclubs, throughout Hobart as that guy with them, you know. And like I say this a lot too, bro, but if you got 1,000 pingers in Tassie, like, you're doing all right. You know what I mean? It was back then, I think we were getting them for about $6 or $7 a pill, you know, selling them for $35, $40 a pill, like big profit, you know. But yeah, so I'm like dad through the week. Come the weekends, I was going out to make money, you know. I was just going out partying, fucking, you know, still a kid, you know. Like I said, I'm 21 years old, 22.
Was your missus on board with it?
She'd come out every now and then
Yeah.
and stuff. Like, so before we had kids, man, we used to do it a lot. We'd go out clubbing and stuff, and we'd snort a bit of coke, we'd pop a pill here and there, and never ever had an addiction though. You know, either of us ever had addiction at that stage. You know,
What about the selling, the distribution?
Yeah, she knew all about that.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. I was never ever hit anything of that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Maybe amount wise, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I never would show her the fucking big
Yeah.
stack.
But she was aware.
She knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if she didn't know everything, then she couldn't really be a party to it.
Exactly right.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And mate, at the time, I had fucking boats, dirt bikes, fucking turboed cars, full drives. You know what I
Has
mean?
it come from sheet metal?
Yeah, exactly. Especially the second, third year apprentice. But had all the toys and whatnot. And we were living pretty wealthy, like not wealthy but comfortable.
Nice.
Age of 23, bro. It's an age where pretty much from that age, mate, the next decade's a blur. So I remember come home from one night to back to this house party, and it just so happened this house was in this straight across the road from my house. So the roads here, we lived on the downside. This house was on the upside, and from their lounge room window, you could see straight down to my house. But I ended up back at this house one day and one night, early hours in the morning after a night out on the clubbing, and pockets full of cash and whatnot, and we're all sitting in the lounge room, and they're passing this fucking glass pipe around, and I'd seen it. I didn't know what it was, or I'd heard of ice, but it was like something I remember thinking I've heard of that on a documentary or something, or
And there it is.
yeah, and they're fucking passing around. It come my turn. Oh, all right, and I remember I put it in my mouth and sucked all the rocks back straight into my throat, bro. I didn't even light it. I didn't know what I was doing. Made an absolute dickhead of myself, but I think the mate ended up doing it for me, and yeah, man, fuck, that was something that I hid very, very well for the next 6 months from the kid's mum. It's definitely a regret of mine, and definitely that something was a major turning point in my life, because within 6 months' time, I'd sold everything. I'd stopped paying rent, and she's clicking on my fucking mood swings and the way, and there was none of these warning signs, like what this drug does to you, or that it's a home wrecker, or, it was just like, wow, man, you can smoke this shit like a bong and it fucking makes you're on speed. Like, it was cool, like, fuck yeah.
Watch me work.
Yeah, literally, work to the point where I couldn't work anymore.
That's right.
My job, I was working an Arvo shift at the time for a boat building company as a welder. And so I'd start work at 4 p.m. of an Arvo and finish at midnight, I'd fucking jump in the car at 3:30 on my way to work, and I'd just go around the block and then pull up his driveway and park out the back for the night and just sit there on the pipe all night, Stop making income from work, you know what I mean? And then I'll sell one of my assets, then I've got a bit of money for a few weeks to fucking keep using. Run out of money, and by this stage I'd give my job up, which eventually happens multiple times throughout my addiction. I'll land a solid job and fuck it because of the addiction, But yeah, and long story short, she ended up fucking clicking on. I think she went through my bank statement one day, and seen that I'd been transferring Bell Buddy money, and clicked on pretty quick and packed up, mate, within a day, and took off with the kids to her parents. And I was lost. I remember I came down, man. And because the come downs too off ice. I don't have the vocabulary, bro. Like back then, when you didn't know what was happening to you, like I would do stupid shit, and I feel ashamed talking about it, but I'd do stupid shit, like climb up in the tree with a fucking rope and threaten that I'm going to jump out of the tree and shit, just come in. And she's just like, what the fuck? The poor girl. And, I remember when she left, I was there by myself, and coming down, I had no money. I had nothing to sell. I had a fucking tick bill, and I was just rock bottom for the first time in my life at the age of 23. Kids are gone. And I remember I fucking just kicked holes all through the walls in this house and just lost it, And that was the end of our relationship there. I I then come off it, you know. I was like, I snapped out of it, you know, pretty quick, and I ended up moving in with my cousin, which is the daughter of my mum's oldest sister, the traumatised one. Yeah. Shout out Kate, you know, she saved me. My first cousin, Caitlin, yeah. Moved in with her, you know, she's a year older than me, you know, just loved having a beer and whatnot. We'd you know, go out and have a bit of fun and that together and whatnot, and started having my kids regularly again, and I didn't touch a shit for 3 years, you know. Within that 3 years, I eventually got my own rental, you know, my first house on my own, and got with another chick, you know, and you know, the chick that I was with was, you know, she was a beautiful person. I still to this day, I've got not a bad word to say about her, but she helped me get my kids. She helped me accept the fact that my kid's mother had moved on, and it was okay for my kid's mother to have another partner.
Yeah.
Because I've now got another partner, and she also had 2 kids too. So between us, we had 4 kids, you know, of similar ages too. She helped me get the kids week on, week off sort of thing. So now I've got the kids 50%. Like, my life's bliss. I'm working again. I'm a qualified tradesman, obviously, by this stage, and, you know, making good cash, and still got the old yarndy growing in the back, you know, like under the lights, and yeah, and we
some things never change.
Nah, bro, especially in Tassie. I'm sure NZ's the same. That climate, bro. Tassie's the best place to grow it. Like, fucking, and I won't lie, I can grow some nice fucking weed, bro.
Living in a green band there.
Yeah. You know, and you learn from every crop. You learn something new from every crop, you know. But yeah, and anyway, so yeah, we ended up having I remember we went to an AFL match one night down in Hobart and got on the piss, and we never used to drink, and this chick couldn't handle her piss. My little sister Tali, the one that was sick, she'd babysat the kids for the night at my house. We come home and we end up having a bit of an argument, and, you know, a bit of a drunk argument, nothing major, but yeah, the missus at the time, she's fucking walked out and grabbed, there was one of the kids' car seats was sitting on the front doorstep, and I don't think she meant to do it, but she fucking grabbed it and threw it, and it went through the bedroom window. And my daughter was laying in there on the bed, and the glass come down on her. It didn't cut her or anything like that. It didn't even wake her up. But the cops were called. The neighbours called the cops, and the cops instantly put a DVO on her, you know. And so that sort of just pushed her away. She didn't want to. She's like, nah, I don't want to. We broke up. I still went all right, you know. I was still having the kids week on, week off for a while on my own, and I remember feeling real good about it, you know, like I'm doing this by myself, you know, like I'm getting up, I'm doing their hair, plaiting their hair every morning, taking them to school, and going to work for the day, picking them up from school, like doing the proper dad thing, solo dad thing, you know, and then there come this one day, bro, like one night, sorry. And I still, to this day, do not know why I made this decision, but it was just one of those things. I just made that decision in my head, and once it was made, I just went and did it. And that was, like, by this stage, you know, the price of ice had dropped, and, you know, people were selling it for like $40, $50 a dot type thing. And I knew a few fellas in the area that were moving it, and one in particular, he used to sort of blow glass pipes and stuff too, and I thought he was coming around buying a bit of weed off me. That's how I knew. And he's like, oh, if you know anyone fucking wants any of this, and I remember seeing it and thinking, oh fuck, I haven't seen that in a few years, like. And I just made that decision that one night, and I didn't have the kids. It was my week without the kids, and yeah, man, I got a point and a pipe off him, and I remember standing in the laundry and smoking this point, and just like, oh, the rush, and my whole scalp went tight, and it was like, oh, that's what it feels like. And before you know it, I'm back on it. And in a very short time, I'm fucking, you know, I'm getting an 8 ball and selling enough to support my own habit, so it's not costing me anything.
Non for profit.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and at the same time too, I'm now making up excuses why I can't have the kids for the week, and you know what I mean. And that's what it does, man. That
Yeah.
drug, like it's.
Did you feel like when you're on it, because when I went through a phase of a lot of drugs too in my early days, it was something that we tried. It wasn't never something that stuck, because we were a collective. But the one thing I took from it was that we classed it as a real greedy drug. Like it.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
It made you always feel like you needed more.
Oh yeah,
Like,
fucking oath. You passing
was-
the pipe around. I'm watching you have it, and then watching him having, waiting for my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking
That
oath.
puff
Greedy.
was too long.
Yeah,
And that's what keeps you.
you know what I mean? Literally,
Yeah.
bro.
And that's what
100%.
keeps you hooked, eh? Because it's just that feeling that you always need more. Like there's
Yep.
never enough.
And then it eventually gets to the point where it's like, fuck this. I'm not telling anybody I've got it. I'm going home to do it by myself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's that
Did you
greedy-
feel like you were like kind of like rewarding yourself? Like
No, because
or
I
one-
felt guilty.
no, but like prior to that, about the decision to try it again. Like, you know, well,
yeah,
why,
good question.
like, why not? You know, I've done all this hard work.
Good question.
You know, now it's my time to
Yep.
let off a bit of steam.
Good question, bro. Because I was financially stable. Like I said, I was living a good life. You know, I had a nice vehicle, and I had a boat again, and like so, I love me fishing. You know, I always love fishing, and you know, and yeah, I guess I sort of did. It was maybe that's probably why, because I've always wondered why the fuck did I make that decision. And I mean, yeah, it was flashed in front of me.
It's that little voice.
Triggered
in-
me.
It's that little. That's that
devil
little
brother.
tiny.
Yeah,
part
go
in
on.
your
You've
head,
done
eh?
good. You've been clean. You can do it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, just a one-off.
Yeah, treat yourself.
Like I said before the podcast started, bro, that drug, if I use it, I can guarantee you in 3 months' time, without a doubt, I'm going to be boned out and have lost everything.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. There's no question asked. That's just what it does, you know?
There's no good outcome from it, is there?
Not at all, bro. Not at all with any drug addiction.
And
there's
ice
nothing.
seems to have that same story. You just like what you've just
Yeah,
said. You know,
man.
you just go missing and you've lost everything.
Yeah, a demonic-y, dark, dirty, grimy fucking feel, if that makes it, you know?
Oh man, I've seen it happen to so many people back home
Yeah.
in NZ.
Yep.
So many.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, these days it's just washed through Tassie, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like I haven't been back to Tassie for a couple of years now since my buddy took his own life there, which I'll touch on soon. But yeah, anyway, I've taken, you know, but before I knew it, I've like I said, I'm making up excuses to, well, I can't have the kids for the full week, or I'll have them till Friday, but I'm doing this on the weekend, you know, or whatever. Ended up pushing the kids away, you know. Before I knew it, I'm getting an 8-ball, like I said, and sort of making enough to support my own habit. And then very quickly, so by this stage, I'd started chatting to this chick. She was from Tassie, but she lived in Melbourne. And we'd always sort of, you know, had a bit of a flirtatious-y type relationship. We'd never done anything with each other, but it was always sort of, it was going to happen one day sort of thing, you know. And just so happened, my little brother, this is a heavy story, bro. I won't go too deep into it because there's about 10 different podcast social media reels of this story already out there. But yeah, my little brother took me for my birthday over to Melbourne for a stand-up Kevin Hart comedy show. It was at the Rotterdam Arena. We had front row seats, bro. It was unreal. He shouted me for my birthday, you know, my 26th birthday, because he was 21 at the time. And yeah, so long story short, we ended up meeting this guy. Funny enough, I remember the day we got there, because I'd taken a bit of stuff over. I'm heavy into addiction again, you know, on the ice. So's my brother, which, you know, like I introduced him to most drugs, my little brother, you know, which I'm very ashamed of. But yeah, we're deep, both deep into addiction. So I remember taking a bunch in my socks just from Hobart to Melbourne, just so we had a bit while we were there. And I remember I went into this convenience store to try and buy a glass pipe. And when I walked out, my little brother's, it was in Burke Street Mall in Melbourne, and my brother's talking to this this guy, and this guy's just like, it was middle of summer, so I'm born in December, and this guy's just in footy shorts, no top. He's got a backpack on, and he looked a bit rough, bit homeless sort of vibe to him. And I was sort of like thinking, what the fuck's this cunt talking to my brother for, you know? Like, anyway, just so happened this guy was from Tassie as well. We didn't know him though. Long story short, he was a user. He was on the streets over there in Melbourne. He had a bit of stuff on him as well. I'd just gotten this glass pipe. We went back up to our hotel room. We'd only booked this little fucking shoebox hotel room. It was like $60 a night. Had 2 single beds in it. Didn't even have a TV. You know, it was cheap. You know, just like a backpacker type feel. Yeah. We've gone back up and had a bit of a session and whatnot, and we ended up spending the next 5 days over there. On the last day, you know, we hadn't slept. We're buckled by the last day, you know, sleep deprived. I've got no gear left. But this fella, he's like, he goes, I've got a connection. I can get a bit of smack, like a bit of heroin. And I was like, again, heroin, I don't even think if it's even a thing in Tassie still. You don't come across a heroin addict in Tassie ever, you know? Me being on my birthday, I'm like, fuck yeah, like fucking anything. Like I'm coming down like fucking dog shit, you know? I feel like shit, like anything, you know? And my little brother, man, like if only I had to listen to him, you know, like fuck. Yeah. He's like, what are you doing, you fucking idiot? Like, you're going to end up just like mum, you know? Like, what are you fucking doing? Like, and I was like, shut up, fuck, it's my birthday, cunt. Like, shut up, you're my little brother, like, you know? Treated him like shit. Long story short, I ended up catching a tram with this fella out to Richmond. We met this Vietnamese guy up this dark overpass on this staircase, and we went halves in 4 points of heroin. And I'd never whatsoever used a needle in my life, you know. And this fella was an intravenous user, you know. I'd never even seen anybody do it until I'd seen this guy shoot up ice over these last few days. And I was like, I guess knowing mum was in that world, I was always inquisitive about it, but I was also petrified, like, fuck, imagine if Dad found out, you know, like, but I made the decision to, I remember watching him, he cut a Coke can, just a can like that, in half and used the bottom of it and mixed it up on the bottom of the can. And I remember I volunteered, I'll go first. I didn't want him to do it and then do it to me. I'd never done it. I didn't know what I was doing, you know. So I wanted him to do it to me sober, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a bit of a trigger warning, guys, but I remember sitting there and watching him do it, and he put it in my arm, and the feeling I got, man, like, was like, you know, when you're really dizzy, like when you've fucking been dizzy and your eyes are like, it was like that, but upways. And I remember trying to stand up, and like, just, that's all I really remember. But there's actually a viral reel, my little brother, and he actually speaks of what he's seen from his eyes this night. The next thing I remember is waking up with 3 paramedics standing over the top of me, and my little brother on the bed next to me bawling his eyes out, like fucking sobbing. And I'm like, and I won't lie, man, I woke up feeling fucking amazing, like the most euphoric feeling, like warm, fuzzy feeling, you know. Like, what the fuck? I had no top on, I had all these stickers on me, and like, what the fuck's happened? Like, I couldn't remember even what I'd done, you know? Can't remember seeing the guy that did it to me, though. Apparently he was there in the room. But there is a social media, a real viral one that's on my Instagram where my brother talks about it, man. I got him to talk about it there recently, and little did I know, the last 15 minutes, he'd just been there pumping my chest, giving me mouth to mouth. I was gone, man, for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'd OD'd, yeah.
Your
But
brother or your
No, me.
the dude that shot up, or was it your brother that was doing the?
My brother was
Oh,
resuscitating me, yeah. But I didn't know, like, and he's bawling his eyes out, you know. What had happened, which I have only really recently in the last 6 months found out, because we actually we never really spoke about it again afterwards, my brother and I. But he was up here in Queensland recently, and we really spoke in depth about it, and we did a video about it. But he said as the ambulance got there about 10, 15 minutes later, I came to. Like, he'd resuscitated me, brought me back to life. And then obviously woke up. He's crying. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and these ambulance officers wanted me to go with him. I'm like, fucking no. Like, fucking go away. Like, I feel great. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I know it's not a laughing matter, but that's how it was, And I remember just climbing into bed, going to sleep, and then I woke up the next morning to fucking bang, bang, bang on the door. It was 10 a.m, time to check out of this hotel, and like, I'm on one single bed, my brother's on the other single bed, and our buddy is on the fucking floorboards between us. And like, I didn't realise for starters, but I've like woken up like, fuck, and then this hotel room's upside down, and there's pipes and bags and fucking, you can imagine we've just spent 5 days over there cooked. Yeah, and fucking, I remember like, fucking, wake up, bro. Fella on the floor, like my little brother's hopped up, started to clean the room up. This fella, he wouldn't wake up. And I remember he's laying there sort of in the fetal position. Like, he had a bit of like brown fluid coming out the side of his mouth, and I didn't think anything of it. I had forgotten that we'd even done it, like, because I was so fucked up myself. I had no idea. I'd forgotten about the paramedics and everything, and I fucking wake up, bro. Like, anyway, he wouldn't wake up, so I started cleaning the room up, and I've gone back to him and was like, wake the fuck up, bro. Like, we've got to get out of here. Like, and I remember he was like sort of laying on his side, and so I've sort of grabbed him, man, like he had his back to me, and I sort of grabbed him under the arms and picked him up, and he was just dead weight, And then it clicked, brother. Like, he was cold, and he was dead, man. And I remember I just laid him on the bed. I was like, oh my God, like, what the fuck? And straight away on the phone to the ambulance, and I was in shock, man, so bad. Like, it was proper, first time ever experiencing proper shock, like, And, and I'm literally, like, here I am, the older brother. I'm watching my little brother. Fucking, he's got the ambulance on loudspeaker next to this guy's head, fucking pumping his chest, giving him mouth to mouth. All this brown fluid's coming up. It's going into my brother's mouth. My brother's like spitting it out and looking up at me. This is what I was fucking doing to you last night. Like, and I'm just like,
fuck, you lived it twice in.
I couldn't even talk, bro. I spewed. But I just was like, what? Like, I just couldn't make sense of it. Yeah, and he didn't make it, bro. He died. He was 21. So that was my one and done experience with heroin, bro. And never ever will I fucking go near that again. But you think that would have, scared me away from drugs? Yeah. I remember, me and my little brother, we made a promise that we wouldn't tell anybody. Worst thing we could have done, man, because it's probably suppressed it and it stayed there for maybe the next 12 months. We may have told a couple of mates about it, but it never ever went any further than our friend group type thing. And main reason is we didn't want Dad to find out. Like, right up until, mate, before I moved to Queensland, I was, petrified of my dad still, like doing the wrong thing, one, we didn't want him to know that we were over there using drugs for starters in Melbourne, but using heroin, and like I had died, and the buddy we did it with is dead. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Like, if you had found out, he probably would have killed you.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But
I'm not, but like
what haunted me for the next 12 months, right, was a fucking letter from the hospital. It may have been like Alfred but it was an ambulance bill, right? I remember it was $500 and something ambulance bill for when they came to for me the night before. And this fucking letter, man, floated around in my kitchen for 12 months. I don't know why I didn't chuck it out, or I never paid it. But like, I remember Dad would come around, and because the house that I was renting was Dad's brother's house, you see, so he was the landlord. So Dad sort of always had that, make sure you fucking keep the house clean, and do your gardens and your lawns and this and that, and so he was always there. Dad would always call in and make sure I was sort of staying on the right track. And I remember a couple of times like, what's this? And I'd be just like, oh fuck, no, it's nothing, Dad. And I'd put it up on top of the microwave or come around again. What's this fucking letter? Oh, nothing, Dad. You know, fuck, put it in the fruit bowl or whatever. You know. Ended up coming unstuck. Me and my little brother had a fucking argument, a punch up one time, and I punched him on the chin and split his chin open, and he fucking got dirty on me and told Dad everything, which was a blessing in disguise, you know. So I sat down and I told Dad in
The truth always prevails, hey?
Yeah, I told Dad in detail, man, and like Dad just sat there and was just shocked. He's like, "Fuck, boy, like, hope you've learnt your lesson," you know, like. But yeah, man, while I was in Melbourne for those 5 days, like I said, I'd been chatting to that chick, met up with her, and she actually introduced me to a guy over there that we could get ice off. So that's when we was getting our stuff off through this guy. Well, I sort of I had a bit of an epiphany while I was there, and this guy sort of told me the prices I could get, you know, ounces for, and they were like a third of the price of what they were worth in Tassie, man. So like I went back the week later. Sorry, it wasn't the week later. A whole few months went by, and during that few months, I started intravenous using ice. That was where that started. And that's where I got and selling it, you know, like selling it, and then because I'd met this chick. She'd come back over to Tassie and seen me, and I'd gone back to Melbourne and seen her within this few months sort of thing. And I'd made the decision that we were going to be in a relationship, you know. And, I remember one time I was over there, I bought an ounce off this guy and put it in my undies and flew back to Hobart with it. And so, fuck, that was easy. Like, that was easy as I made a bit of money, you know. I thought, fuck, I'm going back to get 5. And, look, I don't talk about this. I don't flaunt this whatsoever, man, but I ended up doing it for the next 4 weeks in a row and, 5 at a time, and then come back. I went to go over for the 5th time, and this time I was going for another couple. So, like, 7 this time. I thought, you know, and by this stage, man, I'd flipped so much money. I had like tens of thousands of dollars just fucking floating about, and I was buying everything cash, and yeah, man, it all fell through. The buddy was in Sydney, and something happened. Like, he wasn't going to be back in time for my flight, and I ended up jumping on a flight from Melbourne back to Hobart, and just I had 20 grand cash on me. I had 10 grand in my backpack, and I had 5 grand in each shoe, because you can only travel with 10K, you know. And yeah, man, I used to make sure I'd get the front seat of the plane, the aisle seat, you know, row 1, seat C. Like, so I was the first off the plane every time. And I used to use the excuse, I'm tall, man, like leg room, you know. We've touched down in Hobart, and I've hopped off the plane. I'm walking along the tarmac. First off the plane, I'm thinking, this bloke don't look like he fucking works here. He's got no high vis on, and something familiar about him too, you know. Tassie's a small place, and by this stage I had no charges. I'd maybe a couple of minor driving offences, but I'm getting closer and closer, and as I got closer to him, he grabbed me by the arm, and like I had a real cocky fucking head on me, you know, and I was filthy that this deal had fallen through. I was letting so many people down in Tassie. By this stage, I'd built a reputation of, you know, I was a supplier by this stage, you know. I'd gone from like a fucking 8-ball now to selling my own ounces. And, yeah, man, he's grabbed me by the arm, and he had a badge on his belt, and he's like, you keep walking, mate. He goes, I will make a scene right here. And I was just like, what the fuck? Fucking touch me, mate. Like, I knew I had nothing on me, and I never even made it inside the airport. Another copper come from somewhere else. There ended up being 2 of them. They took me in this like fucking half renovated room off the tarmac. Like, it sounds weird, I know, but there must have been renovations going on at the airport at the time, and I'm in this like half plastered out room, bro, and they strip searched me. So like I've been to jail, and I've never been strip searched this bad. You know, like full like pull it back and let me look under that sort of, you know, like that bad, you know. And yeah, they got all the cash, took me phone, And you know, obviously the last hours in Melbourne, man, I'm messaging everybody. You know, like, do you know people back in Tassie? Do you know anyone I can just get like even one? Like, you know, everything in my phone. So they've taken my phone. I end up being taken back to the Hobart cop shop. A video interviewed and fucking did the whole no comment thing, and you know, and then they're like, well, you can either consent to let us raid your house, you know, with your consent tonight, and we'll bail you out, or we can lock you up for the night and you know, get a warrant, and we'll search it tomorrow morning anyway. You know,
It's going to happen.
I got no phone to tell my housemate because I had a housemate at the time to tell him nothing. So meanwhile, you know, I'm getting done I'm back at the cop shop. He's doing circles at the airport waiting for me to come out.
Oh, God.
He's sitting there going, fucking, where are you?
Oh, bro, and he was a bit of a slow one too. But yeah, and anyway, so like I was like, by this stage I'm hanging out, man. Like I hadn't had anything all day, you know. I'm needing a hit, you know. I'm heavily addicted, intravenously addicted, and yeah, and then like I was like, nah, well, look, I've been in Melbourne for the last 3 days. You can search my house tonight if you let me out tonight, no worries, sort of thing. And so little did I know, while I'm being interviewed, there's already a set of detectives at my house that have raided. They've taken my security system. They've fucking, yeah. And my housemate he'd attempted. I had a tick list of must be like $20,000-$30,000 tick list. He'd ripped it up and put it in the toilet and didn't flush it.
Oh,
So
whoops.
So anyway, I've got there's cops, there's the 2 detectives that have brought me back to the house, the 2 that are already there. So there's 4 detectives raiding my house, you know, and I had fucking guns and everything hidden, and
Did you have any idea that you were being watched, or people knew that you were
not until not at all, bro. Until while I was being interviewed, this is what got me in this. Fuck, man. Like, I'm glad you asked that question, because I had a big gold chain, right? Like, when you're in that world, fuck,
Hey, you gotta show something.
You know what I
Bit of
mean?
bling,
You
yeah.
do. You spend your money. You're just a fucking idiot. But
You're definitely not bearing it.
yeah, yeah, you know what I mean. But the cop said to me, he said, all right. So I'm saying no comment, no comment. He said, all right, well, where'd you get the money from to buy that gold chain from Prouds in Glenorchy, which is a northern suburb, for this amount on this day? Like, as if he was reading the receipt, bro. He knew every detail. And I remember just thinking, oh, what the fuck? He goes, we've been watching you for months, bro. Like, I was like, fuck, what else do they know? And I knew all the shit I'd been up to, you know, like dealing with fucking firearms and this and that. And but luckily they never found anything like that, or I never had anything like that in my possession.
So they would have got I would assume a tip.
Yeah.
Tip, or was that?
Nah, and I know.
Or was that how? Oh, so okay.
Yeah, I know who it fucking was too. Yeah, I found out later on. Yeah, and it was it was someone that I was dealing with pretty high, that was buying off me at the time, you know. So she tipped me off, but
Were they
and
were they an informant?
100% they were,
Yeah.
and still are.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
very well known one,
And
she
Oh.
knows that I'm talking about her too. So I'll say no more. But
Yeah, 100%.
No, we don't need a defamation case.
No.
a lot of people.
We just tell stories.
Yeah. Nah, like I said, I know how to navigate my
Yeah,
way
right,
around
yeah,
these
that's
things,
right.
bro.
Yeah,
But
That's good.
But yeah, that's why I look at the camera when I say that, because she's a fucking cunt of a thing. But yeah, so I was tipped off, obviously, and all out of jealousy because I was doing better. And you know, when you're in that game, you want to be at the top. You know, as I did, man. I was
knock
at the
'em
top.
off.
You know, yeah, that's right. Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, I've got back. They've raided my house. They got me. I just pulled a crop, so there was like about a pound of like off trimmings, leaf, stem, fucking. So they're done with a pound of dope. They found dribs and drabs of fucking gear around my house, maybe even an 8-ball all up, you know. But they never got me with any big amounts, you know. So I ended up being charged with like multiple selling charges, obviously the pound of weed, and a couple of other things. And yeah, and like at that stage, man, like that was when psychosis hit me. Like, you know, they took me from the airport to the cop shop in this white SUV, man, and I can tell you, I was riding around a ZX10 high powerful road bike, you know. Every fucking white SUV was there, man. I swear, like the psychosis just got me, you know. I ended up packing up and moving to Melbourne. And moving, you know, the excuse was that I was, you know, end up in a relationship with this chick, you know, got clean.
Did they lock you up for that?
Well, I ended up going back to court a few months later, so I was bailed
Yeah.
with a court date for a few months later. But within 3 weeks of getting done, brother, I packed my house up and got the fuck out of Tassie because I was just paranoid the psychosis got me hard. And not only that, I went straight over there, man, and cleaned myself up. I started working again the next 8 months. Obviously, I come back for court 3 months later, expecting to go to jail, you know. I got slapped with a 12-month wholly suspended sentence with a 2-year good behaviour, fucking big fine, this and that. But first offence, you know, and it wasn't trafficking. It was just selling. They didn't give me no big amounts. All they had was messages and no proof sort of thing. So
You were trying.
yeah, but for now I've got 12 months jail hanging over my head for the next 2 years. I've got to behave myself.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's why I went to Melbourne. I thought a fresh start, you know. I hooked up with her. She had a beautiful house and stuff already, and in a beautiful area there in northwest Melbourne. And yeah, and the next 8 months I cleaned myself up, you know, and was working again. And, you know, my girls were coming over, and I was going back and seeing them a lot. And
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, it wasn't a 50-50 thing again, obviously, and I wasn't seeing him as much as I would have wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got about 8 months in, and again, she was an ex-user as well, intravenous user. We had one night where it was like, fucking, let's get on, you know, let's have crazy sex all night and do that, you know, and we did, man, and the next 4 months, her alone was like normal, straight, was a paranoid person anyway. She just wigged out on me so bad, and then I wigged out on her, and I ended up finding myself just fucking driving around Victoria for days by myself. I didn't know the area, I didn't know nothing, just paranoid, thinking that I'm seeing the police that got me in Tassie everywhere, and like just fucked myself up, you know. I went back to Tassie one weekend to see the kids. And I just had this gut feeling that she was doing the dirt, like intuition. And that's one thing with me, bro. Like, I have a very, very strong intuition, like stronger than most people, you know.
Just trust your gut.
Oh, man, like, yeah, when I know, you know. And I did the whole fucking paranoid, hacked into her Snapchat, and fair enough. There was a photo in her Snapchat memories of yesterday, like the day before, of the photo was literally like taken, she'd lain back in bed, was taken from like here with old buddy who I was getting the answers off, who she introduced me to right at the beginning of the relationship, laying across the foot of the bed with his old fella out. In the background, you could see my clothes hanging in the wardrobe.
Oh.
Like, yeah, man, it gutted me, you know. I was like, what the fuck? And like straight away,
I don't know why people put this shit on the net, eh? Like, seriously, man. Like, you're fucking...
but I knew I had to hack in there because I knew something was up, something my gut was just telling me, you know.
Totally.
I didn't even have any tip-offs or anything. I just...
Yeah.
And I probably would have went in and could have just been paranoid, but no, man, I was right. Like, but with him, of all people, you know, and he was a pretty bad kind of Lebanese fellow with a bit of a crew behind him and stuff. But, you know, I should have added at the start, you know, like throughout my whole story that I've told so far, man, I've always been a chip off the old boy's shoulder. I've always had a very short fuse. You know, I was a lot of punch-ups as a kid. You know, I was always like a pretty violent kid, you know, drinking in pubs from 15, punching on with men and whatnot. So I said to Dad, like, I'm going to kill him. Like, I'm going and I'm back to Melbourne, and I said, I'm going to fucking kill him, Dad. Like, Dad's like, you are not going fact, I missed my flight on the Sunday. Long story short, Dad wouldn't let me go back. He's like, they'll fucking kill you, Braden. You're not in you're not in Tassie over there, mate. Like, it's a real deal over there, you know?
Yeah.
These were gangsters, like. Anyway, 3 weeks went by. Mind you, you know, I had 3 vehicles over there, a road bike, kids' mini bikes, a whole heap of furniture where I decked our house out with all new furniture. And I remember because I'd withdrew from my super, so I had a nice big chunk of cash when I first got there. So I decked us all out. It was all fresh living, you know. And yeah, man, I went back and you know, she worked. She was a manager of a cleaning company for a big shopping centre over there, and I flew back over 3 weeks later. She hadn't spoken to me. She blocked me completely, you know. So I'm like, oh fuck, like expecting to go back and just split up casually and just whatever,
Amicable.
you know. Obviously, that 3 weeks I was living back with Dad, so I wasn't using. I was clean. I was clear-headed again, you know. And yeah, I gone back, bro, and the fucking house is empty. All my furniture was all stashed in the garage, all my vehicles, everything was there still, but the house was empty. So what the fuck? Like, so I've gone to her work, and usually at a shopping centre like that, you see cleaners walking around with their trolleys, you know. I went up to one of her co-workers and, she still work here? I said, no. I said, is she at work today? And she said, nah, she quit a couple of weeks ago. And like, what the fuck? Where could she be? And I went to her daughter's school, so I was really close with her daughter, you know, to the point where she was starting to call me Dad, you know. And the daughter had been pulled out of school. And
Wow.
to this day, brother, never heard a word.
Wow.
Yeah, never ever heard a word. She's did the runner.
Just
Like I
disappeared.
said, she was a very paranoid person. I don't know if she continued to use or what. But yeah, man, I sold off again in Melbourne. Sold everything off. Ended up with a crew up in Ballarat. Which, funny enough, I was only telling a mate today of this story. He lives in Ballarat. He's the crew that I was with in Ballarat, he's actually in jail now for murder.
Oh.
You know, so, and the 2 other fellas have just gotten out of jail for accessory after the fact. So you can imagine if I'd have stayed in Ballarat, where my life could have ended up then. So there's always been so many close calls I've just gotten myself out of, you know. But long story short, I'd sold everything off, all my vehicles. I was literally just left with a fucking suitcase full of clothes, you know, and I rang Dad and I was boned out. Like I used hardcore for 3-4 weeks over there in Ballarat with these guys and fucked myself up. And I remember ringing Dad and just crying to him. I was like, Dad, I've done it again. Like, I'm fucked. Like, I need help. And he's like, get your fucking ass on the plane, you little dickhead. Like, you know, get your ass home. Like, and yeah, I did and went home. And when I use, like, even up until my recent relapse, like I'm still at the moment not on speaking terms with Dad, you know, even though I've cleaned myself up. He's a tough love type of guy, you know. If you're using, mate, fucking have nothing to do with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, clean yourself up and we'll talk, like, sort of thing. But yeah, so I've gone back to Tassie and it was like that. So I didn't have anywhere to go, you know. You know, and this is where shout out Rocky. This is where my brother, he was part of an establishment of a bikie club. I won't say the name, but of a bikie club that had just established in Hobart, a pretty notorious club, and he's like, fuck, brother, like, and just to this day, you know, he's moved clubs. He's a Hell's Angel now, I think. He's only a young bloke, younger than me, but he was patched up to this club, and he's like, bro, he was living at the clubhouse. He's like, bro, come live with me, man. Like, we'll fucking sort you out, you know. Like, we'll help you, you know. And yeah, man, I spent the next 6 months at this club, and you know, become a pretty important part of it. And yeah, and then you know,
Did they keep you sober?
I kept myself sober, at the start because that's a no policy thing in that club.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
But it's supposed to be. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What-
it ain't.
What kind of year are we talking now? Like, where are we up to in the timeline?
So I went to jail in 2020. This would have been 2019,
Okay.
end of 2019.
Okay. Sweet.
Because it wasn't long after this I went to jail. So, and so, I mean, I'm telling you, like, we had some fucking fun in that club, man. Like, the strippers, the coke, the fun night, the parties, like everything that comes with it. It was an unreal time of my life, and I lived at the clubhouse.
Kind of what you would imagine one of those parties to be like.
100%
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, literally, bro, unreal. And this clubhouse was just amazing. Like, it was a big warehouse that had been decked out, so cool. Like, upstairs was a members-only area where we lived, and fuck, it was stripper poles and this and that. You know, it was fucking insane. Like, I'm a single guy now, and I've just been cheated on. Like, mind you, I got my revenge on old buddy in the end, which I won't talk about because I never got nailed for. But
Yeah.
Yep.
he lost his business. But yeah, I fucking ended up becoming a part of this brotherhood, I like to call
Establishment.
it. But establishment and
Out of the family.
yeah, and man, it was some things happened there, and it ended pretty fucking nasty, let's just say it ended with a gun to the head, and not from any of my crew or not, but just from another fella, and a big fucking whack around the head and a gun to the face, and mate, I looked down the barrel of that gun, I'm telling you now, and I was just like, holy fuck, my whole life flashed in front of my eyes, and
Never really heard of a clean breakup between someone and a club.
nah.
No.
It's so like I said, like my crew, our chapter was, we were tight, like, but it was, this fella was a bit of a higher up out of the circle type fella, and man, it's it ended pretty bad, but I remember just looking down the barrel of that gun thinking, fuck, man, like, wow, I'm in the middle of this, like, and then I was fucking, I remember we got back to the clubhouse, there was 4 of us that went down to this place and where it all happened, and I went back to the clubhouse, and I remember just saying, you know what, like, I'm fucking done. I have kids. Like, by this stage, I'd started using again. I was selling flat out because I had that reputation of being able to move drugs and make money quick, in Tassie. And I was just like, fuck this. Like, it scared me, man. I'm not going to lie. I fucking, like, it scared the shit out of me, bro. Like, it traumatized me. Still to this day, it's given me fucking...
Were you able to just just leave?
Yeah, no, well, that's... So I've try fucking stop me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was just like... And all the boys were like, I said, like, I'm fucking done, And I walked out and they were like, you're a brother. Like, because I was one of the only ones that sort of stood into the bit of shit that happened, And,
Do you feel like it was another bullet dodged?
100%, bro. Yeah, it was a fucking... It was one of my lives,
Yeah. And that's your gut, trusting your gut again, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But little did I know, bro, this is where my life was really going to spiral, my drug use and whatnot. I remember it was only a couple of days after leaving that clubhouse, I found myself sitting down and, like, this is the first chapter of my book, man. So the book that I've got coming out, I started off with the lowest part of my life, the first chapter, before it goes into where my life starts. But I remember finding myself sitting down in the middle of fucking winter, man, in a T-shirt in Tassie, pouring with rain, like fucking bucketing down, like behind one of those, they're like those green hydro fucking things you see on the sides of the road with danger, like electric, don't touch, those things. Sitting down behind one of them, bro, literally like fucking, I don't know how I didn't get hypothermia, like, and I was just like, I had nobody to call. In Dad's eyes, I was just a junkie. Mum's in jail again. Like, I just left the last 6-8 months of my life with my brothers, I had no one, bro. And I remember sitting there, like literally for the first time in my life, I wanted to die. I was like, I'm done. And the family I come from, man, we were never religious. Like God, like as bad as it sounds, like you go to church, like that's the family I come from, But I remember sitting down behind this fucking green hydro bin this night, man, and like bawling my eyes out, like fucking like, and I just looked up and I was like, God, if you are real, like fucking help me or take me, like I am done, like I am fucking done, like, and yeah, and like my whole life just flashed, man. It was so weird. Like I went back to like the days of fucking selling drugs and, right back to the high school day, then back to the days of like the domestic violence as a kid. I just seen everything flash and like it's sort of hard to put to words, man, but it was like a real, in front of me, my life just flashed in front of my eyes, And then you know what, brother? Like that was my first time I'd ever prayed. And, before I knew it, the fucking clouds opened up, it stopped raining. I probably ended up back at another trap house somewhere. But shortly after, I find myself now like and this is when COVID hit in Tassie and the lockdowns and stuff happened, I'm completely homeless. I do not have a roof over my head whatsoever. I'm riding around on a fucking stolen mountain bike with a fucking addiction to meth like I'd never had before, where people are selling you like half a fucking point of rock salt, for like $100. Like, and it's just, and like I was a bad junkie, man, at this stage, and I feel ashamed to say it, but it's the truth, I'm as authentic as they come, So you can picture I've gone from one end of the scale, the guy with all the fucking money, the drugs, the toys, the assets, the women, right now down to the homeless guy with nothing but a fucking stolen mountain bike, not even a home or a friend. Do you know what I mean? So I've literally, I'd experienced from one end of the Richter scale to the other, Yeah, and I ended up, hanging around these fucking low housing commission flats where it's just a bunch of like schizophrenic people and it was fucked, and they were just like 1-bedroom flats, and I ended up finding myself with this schizophrenic guy. He used to really talk to himself a lot, and he used to tell me weird shit like and it was just his head talking to him, like that he was a hermaphrodite, things like fucked up, man, just fucked up weird queer shit while I'm on drugs too. So it was the most demonic fucking dark time of my life, Yeah, and then I ended up running into this chick that I'd had a one-night stand with just before I got with my daughter's mum at the age of 16. I'd had a one-night stand with her fucking years ago, and she'd just gotten out of prison, and I won't go too deep into her because I went a bit too deep on the last podcast, and she fucking had a crack at me. But God bless her. She sort of opened my eyes to God a little bit. She'd found God in prison herself, but she'd gotten out of prison after doing a lengthy sentence for armed robbery, and the prison had helped her get a home, whatnot, in a rough suburb on the eastern shore of Hobart. I ended up moving in with her. We was fucking using together. Toxic relationship, man, and, just verbal shit, like, that we'd have fucking arguments. And, like, so where she'd got this place was they were like townhouses real close together, all housing commission, all really low living people, and in a real rough suburb, a suburb by the name of Rokeby, notorious suburb of Hobart. And anyway, we fucking... I moved in with her, and like I said, it was around COVID time, so I'd pulled 10 grand out of my super, like everybody did at that time as well, and set our house and stuff up, and I'd bought her a car and all that, and yeah, but we started using intravenous using, and like, let me just say, like, from smoking ice to intravenous using, you guys, as you know, being ex-weed users, it's like smoking leaf and then smoking chronic bud.
Yeah, okay.
If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can imagine the hectic arguments both being on the
Oh, it's just straight into the bloodstream, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
No diluting, no just.
Yeah.
So that makes sense, eh? Weed, bud,
Yeah.
like, yeah. I mean, leaf and bud, yeah. But yeah, so long story short, we ended up, like, the police would get called. I ended up with a DVO on me, and you know, just like a keep the peace type thing, and then we'd have a week would go by and we'd use again, and the police would be called and I'd be locked up for the night. I'd get out the next morning, nowhere to go. I'd go back to her, we'd make up. It happened over and over. I think I ended up with about 9 breaches. Mind you, this is all within this 2-year good behaviour from the 12-month suspended sentence from the airport shit,
Yeah.
right? So, and whilst with the club too, I'd accumulated a bunch of just small charges like possession here, possession there, a bunch of lick sticks driving.
Yeah. So how did all that
Those-
go down with your 2-year behaviour bond?
Yeah, so what happened is I ended up with 9.
Sorry, quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
right.
you're about to say about the 9 breaches.
Yeah.
But they're not like it was.
They were just
It
verbal
was-
arguments.
Yeah, but you both consented to still seeing each other.
Yeah, but well, once you breach it the first time, it becomes no contact. So I'm not allowed. I wasn't allowed to within 50 metres of the house.
Even. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
it was still welcomed though.
Oh, by her.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. I was making sure that
just
people knew that it wasn't like.
Yeah, but
you
she
break-
had the power over me,
Yeah.
so she could just ring the police, and I had to get the fuck out of there,
Yeah,
sort of
okay.
thing, you know. But yeah, no, 100%, man. We'd make up. We're in love, you know, I guess. And you know, like, so that ended up happening 9 times, and I remember, bro, the last time, I remember we'd started to argue, and I rang Dad. I was like, Dad, it's happening again. She's gonna call the cops, or the neighbours are gonna call the cops, or whatever. Like, we're fucking. So fucking and whatever, and anyway, bang, I've looked out the back door and I could see the police. It was like a snake driveway into these townhouses, right? And from my back door I could see the entrance, and I've seen them pull in this day, and it was a carload of them. I'm like, fuck. And I knew I had no more chances, like, and I knew I had this 12 months hanging over my head. So I'm like, fuck. I've waited till they're out of sight, and I'm fucking straight out the back door. I've leaped up over the back fence, straight through the neighbour's back door, through his lounge room, and then out his front door, and just fucking legged it, man. And the cops have caught eyes on me. And behind where we lived, there was this big hill, and there was heaps of burnt out cars and shit. Like, you can picture the area. And man, I'm fucking sprinting, and like, I'm can fucking run, man. Like, I got long legs, I'm fast. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I am sprinting, and you know, there's like 4 or 5 cops on foot behind me, you know. At one stage, they were probably like 20, 30 metres behind me. So, like, I knew they were onto me, you know. I'm running, I'm dodging fucking behind trees, and then I end up hiding underneath this burnt out car, like getting underneath this car, and it was that tight. Like, it was pressed down on my chest, and I'm fucking laying there trying not to breathe, you know. And there's police, I could hear their footsteps. You can run, but you can't hide. And fucking torches are out, and it would have been maybe around 5, 6 o'clock, just on dark. And, yeah, I laid there for like 3 hours, man, and I got away. You know, they ended up couldn't find me, and I ended up, I might have went to Dad's or my brother's house, but wherever I went now for the next 2 weeks, I'd be at Dad's house, I'd leave, the cops would go there. I'd go to my brother's house. Dad would ring. He said, they've just been here. They're on the way to your brother's house. So I fucking leave. I'd go to my uncle's house. They were chasing me around for 3. And oh man, I'm telling you, I was so fucking exhausted at this stage.
Yeah, you would be.
Like, so exhausted. And yeah, I ended up, Dad's ended up saying to me, you know, like, fuck, boy, like, get in the fucking car. Like, come here, get in the car. Let me take you to the cop shop. Hand yourself in and just get it out of the way. Like, fucking.
It's happening.
Yeah, you know, it's going to happen eventually, you know. And I'm like, yeah, all right, Dad. I had no intentions, bro. I wanted to use more. Like, I was so addicted. And Anyway, I've righto, Dad. Yeah, he's taken me to the cop shop. I've jumped out. I've waited for him to drive out of sight. I'm out of there. But where did I go? Back down to her fucking house. You know, like I said, it was a trauma bond. You know, and yeah, and like I've gone back to her house. You know, we made up. We're in bed, and I've fallen asleep and. It wasn't long after, man, I'm fucking woken up with a fucking bedroom full of police officers. You're under arrest, Mr. Tonks, handcuffed. And, and, bro, that was the last time I seen the outside for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a week in the Hobart Remand Centre, which is sort of just joined to the sort of like Southport, you know, joined to the courts, you know. Spent a week there and I didn't know what was happening with me. I'm expecting to do 12 months, you know, plus all these other little charges, plus these breaches and everything, you know. And I remember they come in and in the remand centre too, it's like a full-blown supermax. You know, you're locked down for 23 hours a day. You get an hour, if you're lucky, maybe once every second day, you get a bit of fresh air. And yeah, you're just stuck in a fucking cell, man, like with a shower and a tiny little TV like this. And I'd never been locked up like this before, you know. It was all new to me. And I remember them coming in one morning, Mr. Tonks. I was like, they'll pack your stuff, you're going over the river. And if you're from Tassie, over the river means you're going over to Risdon, the Risdon prison, the jail. And I'm thinking, fuck, I'm actually going to jail, you know, like... Yeah. And I remember I jumped on the prison bus and we're heading over there and like I'm freaking out, you know. There's, like I said, I was part of the establishment of this notorious club that had just hit Tassie, and there's other clubs in there that are big that, you know, my dad used to associate with when I was a kid, and they all know me and they all sort of turned on me when I sort of started associating with my club. And so I'm thinking, fuck, it's going to be on as soon as I get to jail, you know? And, like, Dad being the staunch prick that he is, he's like, boy, like, you know, you've done this to yourself. Like, he goes, you walk in that jail, he goes, if any motherfucker says anything to you, he goes, you just go off and you just punch anyone in arm's reach and you just show them who you are, you know? Like, what else can you do, you know? So that's going through my head as I'm fucking going through the big gates into the prison. And I'm like all of probably 70 kilo, you know, drug fucked. Like when you're on ice too, man, you lose your heart too, you know, you lose your oomph. And so I'm like, oh fuck, it's gonna happen, you know. I'm fucking shaking, thinking, oh God, it's on, you know. And I jump off and go through the reception. They give you all your jail clothes and your blankets and bedding and whatnot, and then a screw will walk you up to your cell, and as I've gone into the actual jail, walk along with the screw, it's like, Tonksy. It's like, oh, fuck off. It's like being back at high school, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody knew me, and it was like, oh, fuck, this ain't bad. Like, I ended up being highly respected in there, you know, and, you know, not proud of it, but I ended up, you know, with a bit of currency in there, like the Bupe stuff, which, man, that shit's like gold in jail. Like, you can do whatever you want with that. Didn't really use it much. It wasn't really my thing, you know. It's more of like a downer type. I tried it and stuff, but yeah, but I used it. I've made sure I had a couple of good pairs of sneakers and fucking carpet on my floor in the cell, and I got one of the bigger TVs, and yeah, lived pretty comfortable for the first. But I'm still on remand, you see, so I haven't been sentenced. So I'd had a couple of court links just from jail through just like court appearances. Just through video link from jail, and then it comes sentence day. It was like 5 months in, and by this stage I'd really like settled in, you know, like I'd put a heap of weight on. I'd been training in there. I was like I said, I'd decked all my cell out. I had you know, constant money going into my account through this selling this shit. You know, I was like fucking living good in there. Way better than I was on the outside on the run and exhausted, and you know, I wasn't using drugs. I'd while I was on the run before I went to jail, I tried DMT, man, and had a fucking major spiritual awakening, which I could do a fucking whole podcast on that. But that that helped me a lot. That spiritual awakening, I got 5 months in, and I'm sentence day, so I'm back on the prison bus back over the river to Hobart CBD to the courts. And to my surprise, they're like, we release you in a week and we'll resuspend the rest of your sentence. I was doing well in there, in their eyes, they didn't know I was doing what I was doing under the rug, obviously, but I was working in there, I was a good influence on a lot of the young blokes that were coming in, so I was let out, man. And I remember going back to jail, telling the boys, I'm getting out in a week.
Can I ask, what happens with all your stuff?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
All your stuff
Yeah.
in jail?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't take it with you, bro. You give it to the boys.
Just palm it off on the boys.
Yeah, but the boys that, and it's funny, actually. I don't think I may have told this, but when I came back from court that day after being sentenced, so you go back in through the reception where you get changed back into your jail clothes, right? And well, my bag's there, okay? And in my bag, I had a portable hard drive, right? And I don't think I've told this story on a podcast. I might have told it on my podcast maybe, but it was like a 5 terabyte hard drive full of movies, a bit of porn on there, fucking absolutely that something like that would be worth like 10 grand in jail. Do you know what I mean? And I remember seeing it in my bag, and I'm like, fuck, I put it down my decks, and I'd end up getting it into the jail, and so I left that with the boys as well. So I don't know if that still floats about in there, but
Yeah, well.
I doubt it, man. But it was just a USB, had a USB cord, so you plug it into the back of your telly and watch it on your telly, it was insane, man. And
Don't let me out. Don't let me out.
yeah, but at the same time too, I'm thinking, fuck, I'm let out in a week. I'd only just found my feet. I had already accepted in my head that I'm doing 12 months minimum.
Yeah.
Plus whatever I get on top, I'm maybe 18 months, So if I'm 5 months in, I'm only just at the start of my sentence, I'm thinking. So then when I got told I was let out in a week, I'm thinking, fuck, the nerves, and I'm thinking fuck, where am I going to go? Where am I going to live?
Jobs.
Everything. It's just, and also the trigger drugs as well. I'm thinking, do I go fucking down that dark path again, or do I really put my foot down and have a good hard crack, And so I did, bro, and I got out of jail. I remember my old boy picked me up in a fucking hot rod. It was tough as, man. And, and then I went straight to the pub and we got on the piss and had an absolute fucking hell of a day. I bought a pack of cigarettes. I remember I had a couple of fucking smokes while I was on the piss that night. And I just couldn't, yuck, man. I couldn't stand a cigarette. And it's from the DMT trip, man. And it really is. It's something that the DMT did to me. Like I said, I could do a whole podcast on DMT, bro. But anyway, I remember I gave the pack of smokes away, and I ended up picking one of these up though, and this has probably been my worst addiction to this day is the vape, bro, because you can fucking lay there in bed and smoke it.
Yep.
It doesn't smell, it doesn't, you know what I mean? So I'm still struggling with that, but I got out of jail, and So with the DMT and the spiritual awakening, while I was in jail, man, I like to say I found God, but not in a, I'm not like this religious guy that goes to church and nothing against that whatsoever, but God to me is like my good voice and my temptation bad voice, But I found something, man, and that I could have faith in, But so I used to pray every night, and I did have a bit of a spin through the Bible and stuff in there, and a few coincidences happened that made me feel like, wow, that was a sign, which sort of pulled me closer to it. I believe faith in whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, the universe, the creator, whatever it is, bro. Whatever's greater than us is what got me through. But yeah, I'd pray, and this is a major part too, because I'd pray for 3 things every single night. You got so much time in there to do whatever. So yeah, I'd pray for strength. I'd pray for love. I wanted a fucking loving, reliable relationship, man. Like somebody that loved me back, not like I just fucking had before I went to jail, and financial stability, proper financial stability,
Would you more consider it instead of like praying? It was more like manifesting.
Yeah, but I would, like I said, the chick that I was with before I went to jail, she was all about God and it tried to sort of steer me towards it. I believe she definitely opened my eyes to it, but I wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah.
So I would pray to God, God, if you're there, if you're hearing me, like I pray for this, I pray for that. And I'd pray for those 3 things: financial stability, love and strength. Not knowing though how powerful the opposition is either, So I got out of jail and straight away, within a couple of weeks, I got real close with my cousin. Shout out Brad. He's similar age to me, and we've sort of started hitting the clubs again, and going out and mingling with girls and drinking, and a couple of lines of coke here and there. Nothing. Coke was never a poison of mine. I never had an addiction. It was just a here and there type thing. And I remember one night Brad had a real nice Lancer, and we drove into town one night to head out, and it was a bit early, so we'd got across and got a feed. We'd come back, and there was these 2 fucking chicks, bro, leaning up against his car, and he loved his car. And he real short fuse, Brad. He's like, fucking leaning up against my car, like, I was like, hey, bro, wait, they're all right. Like, fucking, hey, hold up. I walked up, I said, excuse me, ladies, can you just jump off his car? Like, he loves his car, And funny enough, up until 6 months ago, I ended up with her for the next 5 years, bro. We had our beautiful little Darcy. I prayed for the love, yeah. I got that, man. It was the girl of my dreams, absolutely gorgeous, blonde, green eyes, government job, fucking like, compared to what I was with before I went to jail to her, man, it was like fucking this, She, in my eyes at the time, man, was like way above, like I am fucking kicking a goal here.
Your queen.
Oh, yeah, fucking oath. Gorgeous, And yes, so that prayer was answered. The love, financial stability. All right, I remember I was given an opportunity to move a big lot of cocaine, and like I said, it wasn't my poison. I wasn't really using it. Made a fuck ton of money. I was financially stable again, bro, like had all the toys again and V8 ute and fucking, I bought the kids mini bikes for Christmas, and I wasn't working. I didn't need to work because I was like, dealing with tens of thousands of dollars a week again. And and then, obviously she was and still is a hard worker. Government job and stuff, and she'd go to work of a morning. So what did I do? I had money and I started to slyly use again,
That old demon.
Yeah, the demon, brother, and so I'd make sure I'd do it really early in the morning, maybe once or twice a week though. I didn't fall back into a hardcore addiction straight away. So by the time she knocked off work, and we'd have a couple of drinks, and she loves a drink. We'd have a couple of drinks, and I'd hide it, and if I was lucky, I'd get to sleep by midnight that night. If I'd used early that morning, so I'd hit it, man, hit it until it just spiraled out of control again, and I'd become another addict, and she become aware of it, and she found syringes and fucking you know, and within a 24-hour period, she packed up, left, and went to Darwin, bro. And it was just like, oh, fuck. Like, I've just lost my queen, you know? We was only like 12 months into our relationship at this stage. She went to Darwin, father's side of the family and stuff lives up there, and she transferred her job from Tassie up there, and I was like, fuck, like, I won't lie, man. The next few weeks I went hardcore, tried to numb it, and until I got to the point where it was like, what am I doing again? Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck me, I'm out of jail. Like, I'm still under a fucking suspended sentence. This year with a 3-year good behaviour though on top as well. So, which has only just ended, mind you, a couple of years ago now. But yeah, I rang mum, and by this stage my mum was a year clean, man, and never in a million fucking years would I have thought my mum would be the one to help me, you know. And mum had moved to the Gold Coast with her partner, who he's just, bless his soul, he was a psych nurse for years, but he's currently suffering stage 5 renal failure, so he's on dialysis, and mum's actually caring for him from home now. Shout out Rob, I love you, mate. And you know, I rang mum of all people, and she knows, you know, she's been there. She knows addiction better than anyone, you know, like, and I hate to admit this, but mum knows, like, she was down there in Tassie. She was down there with probably the fucking, you know, the bottom 10 worst in Tassie at one point. You know, she was fucking bad, man. I didn't speak to her for a lot of years through her addiction. I remember, you know, when I finally caught back up with her, and in Tassie, while I was in active addiction down there, you know, she'd lost all her teeth and things like that. And it was like, fuck, like, you know, she looked so different compared to last time I'd seen my mum. And, but yeah, I rang mum. And I was like, Mum, I've fucking done it again. You know, like, I've fried myself again, and and so we'd been up for a holiday, you know, my recent ex and so she'd met mum throughout, and I'd seen mum clean, you know. Mum's got a full new set of falsies, and she like looks the best she's ever looked in her life, you know. And you'd never even pick she was ever an addict, you know.
Well, when you showed me on the train
That's
yesterday,
right.
I was like,
yeah, beautiful, man. You wouldn't think she's in her mid-50s.
Nah. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, who's that random that he's with?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, she's letting him film him.
Yeah, bro, I go out with her like that, and people mistake her for my missus. Like, literally, it's embarrassing as, bro. It's happened for years. Like, but she'll laugh at that. But you know, like, yeah, mum, she's like, mate, again, like Dad was when I was in Melbourne. She's like, get your ass on a fucking plane, come up here, and I'll help you. She was so strong-minded, and still is, man. Like, even though I've had a few slip-ups since living here in Queensland for the last 5 years, my mum has stayed so solid. I've even used in front of her, you know, and she's just solid, man. You know, she did rehab a couple of times, and I feel like she was just at the end. She was just so over it. 20 long years, you know, of addiction with her was just, you know, she's just done with it, I guess. And I moved up here, man. I jumped on a plane, I think, within a couple of days, and moved up here. I did use a couple of times when I got here. I ran into an old mate in Surface, and I used for a couple of weeks when I got here, and then, like, it was like, Mum was like, what are you doing, mate? You're not fucking staying here if you're using, type thing, you know. And I was like, I was ready, man. I was over it. Cleaned myself up. I lived with Mum for maybe 2 or 3 months until I started working again, and ended up renting a room off these Indians in Pacific Pines, real nice area down there. And the whole time I'm still speaking with my now recent ex. You know, I'm still speaking. We're still every night. We're still together. She's in Darwin. I've moved to the Gold Coast to prove to her I love you. You know, I'll clean myself up for you. You know, and I did, man. And yeah, and so she went back to Tassie for a bit, packed all the shit up, and then drove to Melbourne, and then I flew down to Melbourne. That's right, and we drove up together. We lived with these Indians for about a month. Fuck, she'll laugh when she watches this. It was a bit of a queer fucking story there with these guys, but they housed us in this mansion for about a month, and the old lady that owned it, she only, because it was like a share house, but
Right.
I don't know why I've got that alarm on, but I do. My bad. It's the first time in a long time.
yeah, this old Indian lady hated women, and so she just liked having guys there, like share house for guys type thing. But I'd just drag my missus in, and yeah, anyhow, we were lucky. It was at the time where rentals were like you go to like a what do you call it? Like a
Like an open home.
yeah, an open home, and you'd be like 150 people, bro. You know, so yeah, we was like dead out of luck. We're not going to get a house, and then we ended up finding where I'm living now. Still, just this apartment in Southport, on Facebook Marketplace, private rental. Boom, we got it, and I've been there ever since. You know, yeah, man. Yeah, that's where my story did end.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm sure you guys want to touch on a couple of my recent.
Yeah, well, if you're into it, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Like we said, man, platform's yours, bro.
Yeah,
So
you divulge what you
I
want.
sort of felt like it would
Yeah.
go like this, being a podcaster myself, and I know my story
man,
pretty well.
to be honest, man, I'm just been awe of the story, bro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, like we usually do a lot more talking than
Yeah.
this.
Nah, sweet,
but
We're just
to be honest, man, you're a great storyteller. So it's
Yeah.
just been.
No, I
been great
appreciate
hearing
it, bro.
man.
And I've told my story tonight in a really different way than I have in the past too. So, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
we're all
But-
ears, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do, out of respect for my ex, I do have to be very careful, and I'm not going to go into too much detail and stuff, but obviously there was an article put in the media about me there, which I'm going to make it very fucking clear that it is so far from the truth. Which I'm extremely confident in the weeks to come. Like I did mention at the start of this, I'm still currently deep in the middle of it all, but I'm overly confident that I will redeem my name there in the coming weeks, months, however long it takes. But there was this article put out about me. I was charged with coercive control. Big fucking photo of me. Big letters, Gold Coast podcaster charged with coercive control, facing 14 years prison. It was fucking published in Queensland, Northern Territory, South Australia. Not South Australia, New South Wales, ACT, Victoria, and Tassie. It was in the papers all through Tassie, obviously, because I'm from Tassie. So it was like pretty much the whole country, bar WA and SA. It was like full tarnish, man. And it was because my podcast had got a bit of traction and blown up, and and my content, I'd just all of a sudden, we're over a few month period, bro, like gained, it's up to about 80,000 followers now, and it was so unexpected. I first ever jumped on socials, man. After a relapse, I was 15 days sober. My first video was like walking along the beach, 15 days sober from meth, That was my first ever video. Never in a million years did I expect or think that it would do what it's done. I was sincerely doing videos, man, to hold myself accountable every day to stay off drugs at that stage, I wasn't worried about likes or views or fucking any of that bullshit. I'm still not, But it ended up turning into a full-blown business, you know, a monetized proper business, you know, where I was making enough money to live on, you know, through my podcast, through YouTube, through Facebook monetization, you know, all the rest. And then this, I shouldn't call him a name, and I'm not gonna, but this fucking journalist, man, he's put this story out about me, you know, and I remember, so we'd had a breakup. You know, she had left with our daughter, and there was a DV order put on me just through verbal stuff. Like, there's never ever been anything physical. I'm not a physical guy whatsoever, you know. I'm right against that shit. But yeah, and you know, I was like, I didn't know that it. How do I put it? I don't know. I didn't know how serious the DV laws were here in Queensland. Let's just say that, because they are the strongest laws across the whole of the country. And when I say that, I say that with respect, you know, 100%, because there has been some horrific fucking DV cases, man, in Queensland, you know, like deaths, you know. So by all means, those laws need to be there.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be an inquest into, you know, each case being treated individually, though.
On its merits.
Yeah, you know, the way I was treated and manhandled by Queensland police, you would have thought I'd murdered her, literally. Like, when literally it was, you know, it was pretty much just her disappearing and me, you know, being extremely worried about my daughter, you know, because like, you know, she didn't, she's never grown up around babies, you know, so she wasn't the most maternal woman. And I say that with the utmost respect. When Bub was born, you know, our beautiful little Darcy, I taught her everything, man, you know. I'd been a father for 13 years. Not only that, I had a little baby sister as well. So I've had babies in my life since I was 12, you know. And I'm a very maternal guy. Like, kids love me, you know. And, you know, my ex, she respects how much I did teach her, you know, like right from how to hold a newborn to how to feed, to how to burp, to how to change a bum. I taught her all that, you know. So at one point there at the beginning, I really was, you know, that sole parent in a sense, you know. And, you know, as our daughter grew, you know, the bond I have with her, man, and I don't want to get emotional, but, you know, like, my bond with Darcy, man, is like, you think I had a kid at 19 and then another kid at 21, and then I had a whole fucking life of drug use and bullshit, and then cleaned myself up, and then had a kid at 30 once I'd lived my years, you know? Not taking away the love for my older daughters whatsoever, but the love that I have for my little girl Darcy I don't have the vocabulary, you know. It's beyond my words. It's because of, you know, being that sole parent at the beginning, you know, having that skin on skin, you know. Like, I've got a video of her, like, when they're drawing the mucus out of her stomach, and she's grabbing my finger with her little hand for the first time, and, you know, everything. It's and then to just have her disappear, and it fucked me, man. It broke me. It really did. And like I said, not realising how serious the DV laws are here in Queensland, yeah, man, was just like messaging back and forth, and there was a lot of mixed emotions, you know. Like, there was a time there, a 14-day period, where I was completely blocked out, and you know, her mother had a downfall with alcohol, which she struggled with our whole relationship, and unfortunately had our little girl taken by child protection, and I had no idea, you know.
Yeah.
But again, my intuition, bro. Oh, I'm telling you, I was blocked for 14 days, 2 weeks exactly, and I woke up this one morning and I had this gut feeling that something wasn't right. Like I rang Mum. I said to Mum, like, what do I do, Mum? Like, Mum knows how strong. Like, it's like almost. I don't want to sound stupid saying it, but it's almost like a spiritual thing. When I know something's not right, and especially when it's my blood or something close to me, you know, I've got to get to the bottom of it, you know. And I rang Mum. So what do I do? And she's like, mate, it's in your hands. Like, I rang Dad, same deal. I thought, fuck it. I rang CPS. I knew, the whole coercive control thing was put on me, not by her, but by a police officer in the region where she was from. And everything else I've been charged with has been by him, not directly from her. Whether it's gone through her or not, I don't know. I guess it may have, but I rang CPS this day, man, and I remember the reception lady, and she's like, got my details. She said, I'll get you to give somebody, if there's a case open, I'll get you to get somebody to give you a call back. I was like eagerly waiting, and I reckon maybe 8 to 10 minutes later, private number called. I answered, hi, this is Braden Tonks, and it's like, yeah, we just want to inform you that we've actually had your daughter Darcy in our care for the last 4 days. She's actually with a foster family. You can imagine, man, throughout that 14 days, you know, I went through some dark days. You know, I hadn't used at all. I stayed straight, you know. I went through some dark days, and then to hear that she was put into a foster home at 2 years old and, like, forcefully taken from her mum. Like, I wasn't only, you know, broken to think that my little girl is with strangers when she is so attached to her mother and I. Like, she, you know, she was a spoilt little thing. She always slept in the bed with us, you know. She was this mummy daddy, like. And to know, and then they said to me on the phone, you know, she's struggling to sleep and she won't eat. And, oh man, I dropped, I hit the floor, and I threw my phone across the lounge room and was just like, fuck! You know, I was like, what the fuck? And I'm bawling my eyes out. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where they were. I knew that, like, if I was to try and go and, like, find her, that I'm going to be locked up because of these stupid fucking, charges that have been put on me and whatnot. Miraculously, you know, her mother did some extreme work on herself by the sounds of it, by my thoughts, I guess. And, I assume that part of it was to breach me to be able to get our daughter back, which meant obviously handing her phone over to the police, which I had no idea of. I was just like, where the fuck's my daughter? You know, I was just like, that was all I cared about. I remember CPS ring me back the next day and told me that our daughter had been given back with her mum and she was safe and well and back with her mum. And I'm thinking, like, fucking what? Like, how does that happen? Like, I'm so confused, but they wouldn't tell me anything because I had the order on me, you know? And I reckon it was within 24 hours. Like, I'm sitting at home just like, and I went and used. I went and used after I knew she was back with her mum. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, and I did. I went and used. I'm sitting there in my lounge room, high off my head. And fucking bang, bang, bang on the door. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm in an apartment. There's only there's no back door. Mate, the old me would have been straight out the back door, up over the fence, you know. But like, I say that sarcastically, but I'm like, shit, you know, like I knew I'd use, so I had to try and quickly hide my shit, and then boot, it fucking booted the door open, and yeah, and the way the police come in and manhandled me, they threw me over the couch and like fucking knee in the head and arrested me, handcuffed me, and embarrassingly carried me out into the front of the apartments like I was some sort of murderer, you know. I had no idea, but what had happened is obviously the police had gone through her phone and yeah, seen like my erratic messages and voice notes, like, what the fuck's going on? Like, where's Darcy? What the fuck? You know, like crazy, man. I was just going spastic. Call. Yeah, and and then I was locked up and charged with coercive control, a whole bunch of breaches. Yeah, I think that stage I got charged with the coercive control and 12 breaches, each breach being just each message. They breached me on each message. So, you know, not like, which in court I'm hoping will be grouped together into just like a one major breach type thing. But yeah, anyway, I was bailed the next morning and went back home absolutely broken, you know, like just lost. Sorry, yeah, when they got me, they took my phone. And I remember the cops like, give me your PIN number to your phone. I was like, as if, like, you know, I've got some pretty private stuff on there, you know, some explicit videos of, you know, my partner and I and things like that. And like, no, like, you're not fucking having my PIN. Like, you fucking come in my house and treat me like that when all I'm doing is, you know, trying to find my fucking missing daughter that's missing in the system, you know, somewhere in your fucked up broken system. And yeah, and anyway, he's like, no worries. They locked me up in the watch house for the night, and it was like 7 o'clock the next morning. The same sergeant has come to the cell door, and he's like, he's got a court order that I give him my PIN number to my phone, or it's up to a 5-year jail offence. And so I was like, just fucking have it, you know, whatever. And like I said, I ended up going up to court that morning barefoot in a singlet, fucking like, you know, and like I said, I'd used to, so I was greased, like I was just a fucking absolute mess, you know, emotionally, mentally, physically looked like shit, you know. And yeah, and then I walk into the courtroom like barefoot, like into the little box thing off the side of the court, and I'll get bail. Obviously, it's my first time. They bail me and I'm let out. I go home, and I was home for maybe a couple of hours. Fucking bang, bang, bang they've come back again because they've had my phone now. They've got the pin to my phone. They've been going through my phone all day, and now they've seen all, obviously, the stuff they didn't see in her phone. You know, and bang, they've handcuffed me and locked me up again that night. And I'm thinking, and with another 10 breaches and a stalking charge where I'd called over that period where my daughter was taken, you know.
Imagine if they had could have just let you know that this is what was happening.
Mate, the way, this is what I mean, there needs to be an inquest into each individual case because, like I said, I totally 110% agree with the laws that are here, you know, and I do not, like, they need to be here. There's some bad fucking men in this state, 100%, you know, that do some horrendous things to their partners.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so by all means, the laws need to stay there, but I ain't one of those bad fucking men. I am not a bad man. I am not a stalker. I am not a coercive, controlled person. I say this with fucking the most confidence in the world. I'm not a violent partner. What I am is an overly protective father that has been extremely involved in his daughter's life from day one, and that has been, I won't say convicted, but wrongly accused and alleged of some horrendous fucking crimes that I'm extremely confident will go really well in my favour in court with the evidence and the information and timeline that I have, spent a lot of time putting together over these last few months just by myself and with my lawyer. So man, I'll come on this podcast to shed a bit of truth, and by all means, the utmost respect for beautiful Darcy's mum. She was completely traumatized having the most precious thing in her life pulled from her.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm so proud, so glad that she's got her back. And I can't wait for court.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might also add too, actually, I was locked up one more time. I laugh at this though, because when I got out that second time, I was broken, man. Like, I was absolutely fucking broken, and I stupidly, I'd set up another phone and I'd sent her a video just like, and I was crying in it, and I said like, look, I'm so sorry for everything that's happened between us, and I can only imagine what you went through, having Darcy taken from you, and I just want, I just want to be able to, like, I'm looking at prison time with all these charges and everything. It was before I could ever even try and get a defence story together in my head. It was very early stages. So can I please just see my little girl, please, before all this goes down, She didn't even reply, man, and within that, literally within an hour, the police are back at my house. They'd watched the video. Mind you, I'd been out for a week or so I wasn't like 3 days in a row. Yes, and then they come around but they weren't as brutal this time. It was just the two cops, and he's didn't handcuff me or anything. He just walked me down and got me down to the police station and watched the video. But this was the third time I'd now not only breached the domestic violence order, I'd breached my bail, which is like no, you ain't getting out. So I'm thinking I'm fucking locked up now. I'm going to jail. The lawyer come and see me the next morning after being locked up, and said, like, you got no chance. There's no point applying for bail. You won't get it. Like, you were lucky to get it that second time. But I said, well, what do I do? Like, this is my situation. Like, I'm not this fucking person, What do I do? And she said, look, your best option is to just plead guilty to it and hope that, you get a good magistrate. And man, no shit, walked into the courtroom again that morning, again barefoot, because they take everything off you. Like, I don't even have a drawstring in these shorts because I was wearing these one of the times, they take your drawstring out of them. And I walk into the courtroom, man, and the big 75-inch TV in there, they play the video of me crying, begging to see Darcy. And I'm standing there, I'm watching the video myself on this big screen. I start crying in the box. And it was a male magistrate this time, and he's watching the screen, and then he's looking over at me, watching the screen, looking over at me and seeing me cry. And then he's like, look, and then my lawyer, God bless her, the way she worded everything and the way she put it to him was like, like, this father, he's desperate, And the magistrate, he was like, look, I can see the pain in this father. I can see he needs his little girl, and his little girl needs him. Look, mate, and he called me mate. He goes, mate, I'm going to slap you with a $1,000 fine, and I'm going to put this through as conviction not recorded, and got it squashed, and I was released immediately. And that was like my lucky stars, bro. I remember sitting in the watch house that night before and praying because I knew I had no chance. I'm like, I didn't even know if I could plead guilty to it or whatnot. I'm just praying, like, please don't fucking. If I go to jail, then I've lost any chance of seeing my daughter anytime soon.
Finally, someone had some sense.
Yeah, and well, bro, it's like I said, man. If old boy upstairs, if he ain't real, then what the fuck is it? You know, like it's truth. I'm speaking the most sincere, you know, truth I can't even fucking put a sentence together. You know, I am so honest and sincere with everything. You know, I'm not this monster that I've been made out to be, and having my name tarnished the way I did by this fuckwit journalist.
I saw a bit of that.
Like-
that was.
Fuck. Did you end up?
I couldn't get it all of it, but yeah.
I'll get it up until you can read it, man. Like
Yeah.
it's so bad. You like now you've
biased, one-sided, just no.
met me. Don't even
real,
mention we have a daughter.
Yeah.
Do you know
like,
what I mean?
Like what you've done to yourself over the years is no reflection of who you are towards other people, right?
Not at all, bro. You
No.
know, but what that didn't help. Like I've built my platforms up, social media. You know, I've gained a very, very loyal, solid following of beautiful people, and to have that used against me, like I'm some sort of fucking criminal, like I'm some sort of like, you know, woman basher, or like, man, I am not that. Like, you know, like by all means, I'm no angel
Yeah.
whatsoever. And
By all means, like yes, you have been a criminal.
Oh,
but
oh,
not,
yeah.
but not in a
No.
in a
Abuser.
physically abusing sense. You know,
no, not at all. Not an abuser. That's right.
That's
yeah.
right.
You know, but like I said, I've got a past, man. I've just told you, you know, I've
Yeah.
definitely got a past, and I'll speak about it because I have spoken about it many times, and my story's out there.
Yeah.
It's being used against me. You know, there's allegations. The police have tried saying that I'm tied up with OMCGs here in Queensland. I don't even know one. You know, apart from my fucking legend of a mentor Semi that hasn't been a part of a club for nearly a decade. Like,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And
we
look
love
at him,
Semi.
bro. He's
Yeah,
one
we
of
love,
the
we,
most.
love, we love Sammy on the cast.
Yeah, we love Sammy.
Yeah, you
Part
know.
of the herd.
He's a great guy.
I do, and shout out Semi and Jess. I love yous both to the moon and back. Like,
Yeah, great
man,
people.
without him, Semi especially, you know, and Jess, like Jess just with her softness and the way she speaks and words things, man, like she's a very, very healing person herself.
It's calming.
Yeah, very, very. And Sam, bro, he's like, you could just sitting there talking to him and you just watch him well up and you know how sincere and real he is, you know. I truly, you know, I've got some brothers and that throughout Tassie, but I've never met a bloke like Sammy.
I speak to him every day.
Yeah, same.
Every
bro.
day.
Same. I annoy the fuck out of him. But I do a lot of his content and stuff for him now, so...
Also going to sing Sammy's praises when we had just on a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was going through a lot of personal stuff literally that day. He reached out a couple of days later being like, everything all good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, fucking good
Yeah,
on him.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter who you are.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not money. It's just he cares.
Yeah, man.
bro, look at like 9D breath work. I don't know if you guys have done it.
Oh, I've done it once, and what an experience that was.
Man, it's crazy.
I'm going again.
Yeah.
I've been saying it, but I
Yeah.
will be going again.
But you know, like, what is it, like $300 a session? That's money well spent, you know. For Semi to give me access to that free for whenever I want to do it, like, man, that, like, just because he sees good in me and he, like, it's amazing, bro. I'm so fucking grateful to have that man in my life, to be able to call him a mentor. I've always reached for, or like always wondered what it would be like to have that older sibling or that older brother, being the eldest of four that was, you know, supposed to be a fucking role model. Turned out the way I did. You know, to have Sammy, man, it's just been such a blessing. It really has. Like, yeah. But that's sort of, I won't really say too much more, bro. I've probably
No.
said too much. But
Well,
everything I've said is already out in the public, so
Yeah.
well, what's next for Tonksy then? What's next? Bar the fighting with the law and that. Like, you know,
100%.
what's happening with the potty, the book?
yeah, so 100%, bro. Well, my first focus is to you know, get the majority of this shit squashed in court.
Yeah.
Which it will. once that's done, I'm focusing on getting the restrictions taken off my social medias because they've fucking restricted everything. I don't get paid off social media whatsoever. They've put it so my socials, so my posts don't get recommended to new audiences, you know. So like, just for example, and like I said, I don't give like if it really worried me, I wouldn't still be posting videos daily, you know. But my view count and likes and shit, they went from like, you know, an average video of mine would get 40 to 50,000 views. You know, a good one would get 500,000 views, and I've had a few over 1 million. You know, likes, I was always getting up over 1, 2, 3,000 likes on a post. I'm lucky to get 50 likes, you know, and like that's somebody that's got 80,000 followers.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You know, I'm lucky to get
2.
Yeah, lucky to get 50 likes on a post.
Yeah, fuck.
You know what I mean? It's not to mention the money side of it, like which, like that all came surprisingly. You know, as my socials grew, like Facebook especially. You know, it opens up, and you know, if you follow all your tasks and you do everything right on there, you can make a fucking killing on there, man.
What happened to innocent to proven guilty?
Exactly, man.
You know,
We
they've
spoke
just
about
fucking
that.
they've just. It's like I said to you before. It's a witch hunt. You to prove that you're innocent, you sink and die.
Yeah, and
know?
that's where I and I've gone to say it a few times now. That's where I really think there needs to be an inquest into each individual case, DV case, man, because cases like mine don't deserve to be treated the way it's been treated. You know, I've been treated wrongly. I might also add to there is a from the region. I won't say the where because it's probably crossing the line, but the CPS Child Protection Services that took my daughter, that from that region, that branch, there is a major inquest into them because they've been doing shit wrong for years. Good. And I'm gonna. So that's a big thing of mine in the future. I'm gonna be a major advocate towards that and try and fuck them up. Shouldn't say it like that.
Nah, but make sure that
You
they're
know
held
what I'm
accountable.
Oh, fucking oath, man. You know, they took my little girl, you know. Yeah, so obviously once all the court shit's over, brother, definitely, you know, want to get a good co-parenting relationship back where I'm seeing my little girl again. Obviously, my 2 elder daughters have distanced themselves since all this stuff's happened, which I don't blame them. You know, there's a bit of a story there, but I don't really want to talk about that.
That's fine.
You know, I love them to death, man. They're my first babies.
Yeah.
You know, they've watched me grow throughout over the years. You know, watch me fuck up, watch me fix myself, watch me fuck up. Like,
So,
but
how? Just a question I had sort of thought about earlier is how do you see yourself fixing the cycle that you get caught in?
good question, bro. And I think this has all this happening to me, what's happened to me recently, has made me, you know, I put myself on a mental health plan. I see a psychologist weekly. I'm under the supervision of my doctor, under the supervision of a psychiatrist, which has referred me to AODS, Alcohol and Other Drug Services, to tackle my, you know, I've never done anything like that. I've never been to a rehab. I've never detoxed. I've always willpower. I'm a very willpowered, strong man. Like, but like you said, it's a cycle. It is a vicious cycle, and I can be years clean and just have a fuck up. And like I said, once I start 3 months, brother, I'm fucking boned out, you know? I think this AODS, so they're putting me through I forget what it's called. It's not, it's a group it's a weekly group that I'll go to, for people that are already off drugs,
Yeah, like
you
a
know?
peer support system.
Yeah, that, you know, I've just off my own back, I've done multiple parenting courses. I've done, anger management. I've done, I'm enrolled in a men's behavioural program. I've just done all this off my own back. Nobody's asked me to. I've just went and done it, bro. Just to,
it's
if it
awesome,
comes
man.
to it, you know, I've already done this, you know.
Yeah.
I've never done any of that in the past, bro.
No.
And I think this time, man, you know, I've never had a child taken from me like this, and it's broke me in a way, but also built me
Yeah.
in a way. And you know, I'm in my mid-30s now. You know, I've never bought a home. You know, that's a major goal of mine. I've got a shit credit rating just through being an addict my whole life. So you know, I've just started a debt consolidation thing. You know, so getting my debt underway, so I can eventually buy a home within the next 5 years. And yeah, like I said, I've never had trauma like this before where I've had a child taken. So I really, really think that this is it.
I think having a mentor as well.
Yeah,
Someone,
bro,
But the thing is,
on top of it all.
but him being so relatable as well.
Yeah.
Like, and like we all know that we can reach out to Sam any fucking time.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're in that state,
Yeah, and the way Sammy treats me is, like, even when I was in recent active addiction, you know, and I say this, a lot of people will disagree, but I might actually share something with you that I think it's something I should share. But, you know, like there'd be times where if I didn't have drugs, I probably would have done myself in. You know, I feel like on a few occasions over the last few months, drugs have fucking saved my life, man.
I've said that a few times on the past.
That sounds fucked.
You need that sometimes.
Because it's a numb,
Yeah.
you know? It numbs you. And
Don't condone it, but
by
if you
all
can
means.
get with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes like it happened to me as well when I was going through my patch. You know, if I hadn't have went back on the weed, I probably would have done the same thing.
yeah, and I'll share something with you. The only people I've told is my mum, my housemate Ryan. Might give Ryan a huge shout out, man. Ryan's been there through it all. He lived with my ex and I for 9 months. And like Ryan, I love you, brother, from the bottom of my heart. He's my housemate now. He jumped in as soon as she left. He jumped in and helped me with everything, with the rent, with the moral support, just with the company, the everything. You know, like I love him, man. Like a full-blown blood brother.
Big ups.
Yeah, and he's only a young bloke too. He's a millennium baby, so he was born in the year 2000. You
Wow.
know, he's only 26, and
Yeah. Shout out, Ryan.
yeah, he's a really good guy. I'd love for you guys to do a podcast with him sometime too.
Would love to.
I've still
Yeah,
yet
man.
to get him on mine though, little prick.
Yeah.
But
And it's right there.
Yeah, he's got a hell of a story, man. Very traumatized kid. Yeah, in and out of foster homes and stuff as a kid.
Oh.
So,
Poor bastard.
but fucking where was it? Oh yeah, I'll share with you. I made a decision one night. I made the decision one night. I was done, and this is only about 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago maybe. Hadn't spoke to anybody for a couple of days. Hadn't spoke to mum. Hadn't spoke to anybody. Hadn't spoke to Ryan. I had a vial of Frank, vial of GHB. I had a whole bunch of meds. Like I'm currently on meds at the moment. Some pretty heavy meds, you know, like antidepressant and antipsychotic and Valium. Copious amounts of it in front of me and a vial of Frank. And I made the decision to, all right, I'm going to do it tonight. And I had no answers. I had no defense in place because I was in active addiction. I hadn't sat down and got this fucking story straight. I thought I didn't want to go to court and just be fucking shat on, end up in jail again. And like, I was just done, you know? And so I made the decision, and how I know it was real, man, is I didn't contact anybody. Because a lot of people have used it as a, you know, I'm going to do myself in as a,
Cry for
Proper
help.
help.
yeah, just like, look at me, like, you know, but I did. I made it, and the only people I've told this to is Sammy and Jess, my mum and Ryan. But I made the decision, and I was gonna shot the whole 50 mils of GHB and take a handful of that, handful of that, handful of that, and just go to sleep. Hope I didn't wake up. And I wasn't even. This is how I know it was real, man. I wasn't scared. I felt sort of
Complacent?
excited,
Yeah.
in a way, like not excited, but like ready, if that makes sense. I know.
I like a
Content?
relief.
Yeah, relief. Perfect word, relieved. Like, all right, it's happening, And I literally, bro, like, this fucking goosebumps galore. So in my bedroom, you walk in my bedroom door and my bed's here. My TV's on the wall here. And just inside the door, I've got like a little desk thing, and all my meds. I stack all my meds and shit in there, and I've got a lamp and shit on there. And I usually like sit on the edge of my bed and take my meds there, before bed. And I fucking I went and I walked in the bedroom ready, bro, like literally seconds away from doing it, and I sat down on the bed and I sat on the fucking TV remote but turned something on YouTube, and it was, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something to do with God. Like it made me jump, like, because I just sat on the remote accidentally, like as I went to sit down to do it, I sat on the remote, man, and yeah, and it's fucking made me jump. The TV come on, and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like, I was just saved. And then I was like, what are you doing, you fucking idiot? Like, I didn't even take my meds that night. I was like,
Just to be safe.
yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm here for a reason, brother.
Yeah.
Like, I am truly here for a reason, and that is to show my little girl that I am the best dad in the world,
Yeah.
and the dad that she needs.
Yeah, legend.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, sorry. That's the first time I've shared that.
Oh,
But
thanks.
Well, I mean, to
Yeah.
someone who's lost a lot of people in my life to
Yeah.
suicide, and my best mate took his life and left his kids behind, like,
yeah, bro.
he did the right thing.
yeah,
man.
100%, man.
Yeah, 100%. I know, right? And it wasn't just that was playing on my mind. Like, a year and a half ago, my best mate in the world, jumped off a bridge and done himself out of the blue, and
Yep.
I was a pallbearer at his funeral, and I said a big speech at his funeral. I was donated his acoustic guitar. God bless you, Kitschy, brother. I do videos on Kitschy all the time. If there's a full vlog on him on my YouTube channel, actually, and yeah, just a damaged man. But yeah, the last thing I'd like to add to, man, is season 3 of the Tonksy Media podcast is coming back with a fucking bang.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
I've over the last 6 months since all this shit's happened to me, I've had an epiphany, and I don't want to let out too much.
No,
I
don't
don't want to let out, but I do.
Don't spoil it, man. Don't spoil it.
Yeah, I do, but it's
Just watch
it's-
this space.
Yeah,
watch this space. It's coming back with it's going to have a full blown theme to it. Season 3, completely different. It's not just going to be your average life story. It's going to be a very touchy theme, very relatable theme, with very sort of darkness to it.
Grittier.
Yeah. If you watch my second season, my intro's real like boppy, and like the intro, and it shows previous guests and that have come on, and the intro, I'm hiring a videographer to do some filming for me on the beach. It's just going to sort of be me with a voiceover, a mean voiceover, my voice. With a lot of expression in it, and it'll just end with welcome to season 3, the Tonksy Media podcast. So
I don't listen to many podcasts, mate, but I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, it's more visuals, bro. More visuals. It's gonna really get people, and it's I aim for it to, in total over my 2 seasons, I've had over. I don't know exact numbers, but last time I looked, it was almost up to 700,000 streams. So it's it's really gone off. That's across all platforms.
You're almost close to us, mate.
Yeah. What we got?
That's you know, that's
10.
I'm on about 10 different platforms though. You know, right across. You know, obviously Apple, Spotify, Amazon, fucking. There's about 10 different ones that it's on. So across all them, it's not just off and then YouTube as well. YouTube doesn't seem like, I think my most viewed podcast on YouTube's had about 30,000 views, but some of them have only sort of just hit 1,500 views. Do you know what I mean?
Whereas we are more viewed on YouTube over, say, Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Like YouTube,
Spotify, bro, is fucking blown up for me, yeah.
YouTube is by far...
And our reels get more views on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've stopped
We're still small fries there.
Yeah, but it's definitely
That's
going
right.
to be coming back with it's going to be a very cleaner look to it and, a lot better quality than it has been in the past, so...
Yeah.
And like I said, man, I've learnt a lot over these last 6 months. I've got a lot of knowledge in here around a lot of recent events and whatnot. So let's just leave it at that, eh?
Yeah, man. 100%.
Wow, mate, like it's been fantastic having you up
Yeah,
here.
dude.
And we're
Appreciate
It's
it,
been a
boys.
fucking great and what one for the anniversary, the 1 year birthday. What a fucking podcaster.
I mean, you kept us quiet.
Yeah,
Hey, mate, I'm a chatterbox. I know, right?
Mate,
it's-
seriously, like this is
it's
the
great,
quietest I've
man.
ever heard Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we've just been in awe and just listening of
Just
I appreciate it, man. I've felt it too, you know. I've felt and you, Dean.
Yeah.
and you, Dean. I've felt the love, 100%. You know, and it's been my absolute pleasure, man, to come on and share it the way I have.
It's been great, man. It's been great.
Oh, thanks, brother.
It's been great, yeah, man. Thank you.
put it there, bro.
Man.
Appreciate it, man.
No, we appreciate you, man, coming out all this way and freeze frame. Then we'll
Being the
roll
last
back
episode
into
too,
it.
eh?
Huh?
Being the last episode. Oh, the final,
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you like what we do, remember, like, subscribe, follow, share. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Not LinkedIn. Don't go there because Brandon doesn't take
Yeah,
care
we
of that.
say it every week. LinkedIn,
Um,
don't do that.
You know, check out the episode coming out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those. And look, if anything was triggering tonight for you, you know, Beyond Blue, Lifeline, reach out to them. And if you want to get in touch with Tonksy or look through his socials and stuff, we will put a link up in the description and you can find him there. But yeah, 1 year down, 1 year in the books. And stay tuned. Got some shit coming up.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. Peace out.
Real talk. We're putting it all on the table. You know what to do.